All right. 1 p.m. We did it. We got ourselves to noon last time. I think we're at noon, right? Noon or what? We're at noon. Okay. We're at the next hour. Yes. Only affect other protagonists within the same time. Gated by circle of the charts. 10 block, do not. Okay. So that's if you wanted to hunt and go back to do previous bad ends, because you can collect them all. But all right, let's start with some fun. Let's start with Tama again. Tama is always a unique time. We'll say that. All right, let's go. In 1 hour, the Burning Hammer sales demo will begin. Great. Cheery is laying out the assortment of snacks that we'll have on. Hey, Tama, you hungry? Why, yes. Yes, I am. I mean, that should be pretty obvious at this point. All I've had since putting on this stupid mascot costume is some burning hammer and a bunch of iced tea. Hey now, Cheery shoots back. What's with that attitude? Cheery, you do remember that you ate my lunch, right? The sticker said it was best before noon. You just made that up. Heh, yeah. Cheery chortles merrily and chugs some more iced tea. Okay, folks, Mr. Yanagashita calls out as he slips into the room. Lunch break's over. Back to work. I don't feel like I've had much of a break. If anything, I'm even more mentally exhausted than I was before. I love that the chicken costume is in a hammock. In a full hammock. In the corner there. That is amazing. There's a box full of Yanagashita toys in the storeroom on the 3rd floor. Mind bringing those down? Yanagashita, I ask. What's that? Name makes it sound like some sort of product knockoff. It does, doesn't it? Mr. Yanagashita's face widens in surprise. You've never heard of them? Oh no, is it an... You know, Yanagashita. It's a digital pet game where you raise an eel that lives in Tokyo Bay? Oh no! Yanagashita. A portable electronic game in which you raise a conger eel, a nago, feeding it daily and clearing away feces. Depending how you raise your eel, it can wind up developing into various forms, from normal eel to ultimate eel sushi. You can also use the infrared communication feature to bring over friends for your eel from another nearby Yanagashita device. There is also a sister product, Trout Watch. By connecting the two, you can view a special event for the eel and trout characters. Go to a pub together. Actually, I have had eel sushi. It's delicious. So if you haven't, you'll go have some. Never heard of it, I say. Well, I guess maybe a lot of people in Japan haven't heard of it yet. But it's all the rage right now with youngsters over in NYC. NYC? Oh, he must mean New York City. It's popular in New York? Really? Anyway, I did some quick checking and that's what I learned, so last month I bought a whole bunch of them. And once again, you were swindled. Yep. Ouch. Cheery dropping the hard truth. Mr. Yanagashita lets out a pathetic whimper. Oh my gosh, the facial expressions in this game. Oh my goodness. Wow. There it is in HD. No! Just like that, his confidence evaporates. He starts muttering to himself. I thought it sounded a little fishy. Really? Oh no. The game sounded a little fishy. I mean, think about it. Why would kids in New York be interested in raising eels from Tokyo Bay? He muses. And what an eel character even have anyway? None, that's what. I should have known that. I did know it. Then why'd you buy them? This farce is getting tiresome. His smile and optimism is gone. Anyway, Yanagashita continues, it was gonna cost way too much to keep them in storage, so I was just gonna let the recycling guy take them. He hangs his head in shame. In a matter of moments, he's borderline catatonic. Borderline catatonic. The type of eel that gives Yanagachi its name, Inago, can be loosely translated as the creature that lives in a hole. Mr. Yanagashita is probably wishing he could crawl into a hole right about now. Cheery, on the other hand, flashes a big, bright grin. Still, you know, eel's pretty delicious. I'm with you on that one. Oh, Cheery, Yanagashita blurts. Thank you. He clasps her hands in gratitude. I wasn't exactly complimenting you there, boss. It's the same thing. There's a little bit of me in each of my products. Yanagachi and I are one and the same. A brief Yanagachi gameplay clip. The trick is to feed your eel proper food and give it proper exercise. Another important strategy tip is to make sure to obtain the sharp chef's knife when you visit Kappabashi's kitchen town partway through the game. Oh my goodness. Grub. This is very important to the overall story of the visual novel. Wait, are we cooking the eel? Oh no! Oh no! Normal eel. So you're raising the eel to eat it? Oh no! Oh man. Oh man, that's making me want to play Dave the Diver again. That game was amazing. Which is to say, eels and I are one and the same. Go on then. Say something nice about eels. Cheery chimes right in without missing a beat. Eels are awesome! When it comes to eel sushi, 100 pieces barely whets my appetite. You know, those two make quite a pair. That really means a lot to me, Cheery. Thank you! Thank you! I don't understand what any of this is about, but if it helps mend Mr. Yanagashita's wounded spirits, I guess I can't complain. I'll leave them to their devices and head for the storeroom. The storeroom door opens with a rough grating sound. That sounded like one of the doors. Silent Hill 2 or something. Or 3. Okay, now, where's the light switch? I fumble around in the dark, feeling for the switch box. Oh no. My costume paws mute the sensations in my hand enough that even finding that is difficult. I bat at the wall willy-nilly until eventually the lights come on. Apparently I found the switch, even if I didn't feel it. Whoa, what the heck is this? The storeroom is practically overflowing with shoddy goods. A painting that looks like a child's scribblings. An oddly shaped hat bearing the words "Grow 2 inches guaranteed." Oh no, it's the anti-Short King machine. A cheap-looking pendant with a tag that says it's set with a miracle stone. Miracle stone. Those stones are nothing more than simple glass beads that were purchased at 5,000 yen apiece. The seller claimed normally these sell for 10,000 a pop, but if you buy 100 of them, I'll give you half off, at which the buyer declared it really is a miracle, before joyfully agreeing to the purchase. The fact that someone like Yanagashita actually exists to buy these things up is also kind of a miracle. It's like this is the knockoff boneyard where cheap products go to die. It's so dramatic, I love it. Oh, man. They break away from their pathetic herd, knowing their time has come, and end up in this graveyard, the storeroom. Let's see, Yanagachi. I quickly spy the cardboard box I'm looking for. Then I catch sight of a dark silhouette out of the corner of my eye. Eek! I yelp. It's a cockroach! It's one of them. What? Them. Black, flat, quick, long antenna, often spotted in kitchens, sometimes, somehow. Their legs wind up in restaurant food. Ew! One of them. The size, the speed, the dark shape. Couldn't be anything else. It peers back at me from the shadow of the Yanagashita box, the faint light catching the luster of its carapace. You remember when this was about a kidnapping? It looks ready to leap out at me at any moment. I need to act fast. I challenge it to single combat. I snatch up the cardboard box and make a run for it. No. The battle must be joined. I challenge it to single combat. It flitters aloft. It's gunning for me, all right. Bracing myself, I step forward to confront it, which paradoxically helps calm my nerves. I get the sneaking suspicion that this isn't the first time I've done battle with one of these things. There is only one choice. I don't even know why there was a second thing there. It's like I've trained myself to protect someone who's even more scared of them than I am. As I mull that over, the thing hovering in the air presses its attack against me. Now's my chance. I snatch up a nearby piece of cardboard and swat at the creature hard. It sails out the window on a graceful arc and flitters away into the world beyond. Phew. At least we parted on mutually acceptable terms. I didn't have to squash it or blast it with pesticide. Hefting the box labeled Yanagachi, I scurry away from the graveyard of schlock merchandise. That was incredible. Phew! I made it. When I get back to the break room, Mr. Yanagashita is still clutching Cherry's hands. And he'll super tasty when you salt broil it too. Thank you! But tempura style is probably the best. Thank you! Well, Mr. Yanagashita's spirits have certainly turned around. Okay, got it. I hold out the big cardboard box. Excellent, thank you. You girls are the greatest, Yanagashita shouts. His voice resounds with gratitude. Hey, that's it! I just got an amazing idea! Why don't the three of us start our own company? I'll pass. Cherry and I respond in unison. They're both doing the no. Man, you two shut that one down quick. Oh well. For today, let's just focus on selling Burning Hammer. By the way, I ask, where is the Burning Hammer? There wasn't any in the storeroom, and I don't see any here either. Oh, that's right. It's out back on the loading dock. We should probably go bring it in. Oh, and bring the Yanagachis with you too. The recycling guy's gonna be showing up soon. Come on, let's go. Cherry and I follow Mr. Yanagashita out to the loading dock. But the loading dock, it turns out, is empty. Oh no. There's no sign of the Burning Hammer anywhere. It's gone, Mr. Yanagashita murmurs. Then his voice rises to a shout. It's gone! Oh God, the Burning Hammer! It's all gone! Flying into a panic, he searches frantically from one end of the dock to the other, leaping into the air, even peering down into the cracks. But no matter where he looks, there's nothing for him to find. It was right here a little while ago. Like right here. Right here! I hear the sound of an engine revving outside. Mr. Yanagashita cries out in alarm. We can see a truck starting to pull away. Like it says, Burning Hammer, it makes you happy! Get slim body! I love it. Its bed is piled high with cardboard boxes and other assorted trash. Hey boss, is that? Yes, there it is! Mr. Yanagashita begins racing after the truck. My burning hammer! His voice cracks as he cries out, "Give that back! Give it back!" But he's no match for a speeding truck, and the boxes of burning hammer vanish before his eyes. Is this going to be a bad end? Burning hammer! Come back! Come back! Yanagashita's wailing echoes from the surrounding buildings. It's like something out of a movie or, as I've said before, a visual novel. What the hell? What's up with that truck? Tama! Who the heck was that? Hey, don't look at me, I reply. Huh. With all those piles of stuff, it looked like just like the recycling guy. As soon as he says it, revelation dawns on his face. The recycling guy? He mutters. I can see the color draining from his face. The words recycling guy give me an idea. It was him. Maybe he thought he was picking up the Yanagachis by mistake. We have to find it! We have to find that truck! The man is absolutely beside himself. Chiri! Tama! You two split up and try to track it down. Wait, why do we have to look for it? Again, Chiri and I speak in chorus. If there's no sales demo, there's no money to pay you, and then all the work you've done will be for nothing! Right, when he puts it that way, I guess there isn't much of a choice. Somehow or another, we'll have to find that truck. You can't have gotten far, he continues. Now, go hunt for it like your life depended on it. Chiri and I look at each other and sigh. How do you want to do this, she asks. You want to search together, or should we split up? Let's go together, we should split up. Let's go together. Let's see how that works out. Let's go together. And so Chiri and I head out in search of the truck. As we make our way down Center Guy, peering in all directions, I accidentally bump right into a man who's out with his daughter. Hey, that man looks awfully familiar. Oh, hello, welcome. Welcome. Oh, pardon me. I hop back into my feet and go bow to the man in apology. Oh! He bows at the same time, and we manage to bonk our heads together. How does that even work with a mascot costume? Sorry. As her dad drops to his knees, clutching his head, the girl begins to wander off. Hana! Wait! The man lurches to his feet and rushes after the girl. She seems like an odd kid, only 10 or so, but strangely cold and distant for her age. As we make our way back down the road, Chiri's eyes light upon a cafe. Man, I am super hungry, she mutters. Not now! You have to find that truck! Yeah, I know. I stride purposefully along, and though Chiri flashes the eatery a long, lingering look, she falls into step behind me. Chiri and I wander around town for another 10 minutes or so. Starbucks coffee. Hang on, I see that there. Product placement. We don't see any sign of the truck, though. Huh? Wait, what? Chiri's gone. She must have slipped away from me at some point. I took a quick look around, but there's no sign of her. When did she split off? She was just there 2 or 3 minutes ago. It's 12:35. It's quite the watch there. Interesting. The sales demo starts in 25 minutes. What do? I don't have time to go looking for Chiri. Guess I'll have to keep searching for the truck by myself then. But I have no clue to go on. I don't know how I'm ever going to find it. What should I do? Do we have a choice? Or is this a keep out? It's a keep out. Okay. All right, game. I'm familiar with whether you're pulling on us here. Let's see. We got So Tama's kept out. Osawa, Minorikawa, Kano, Hachi. Who are we going to hop in with? Let's do Minorikawa. He's always... We're gonna go in, like, descending order of silliness, I think. Minorikawa stood on the sidewalk, weighing his options. Chiaki's phone call had thrown him for a loop. And for those who do not remember from last time, he is attempting to get a magazine published on time so that the guy who Tama just bumped into won't be in horrible debt and to the Yakuza or to some sort of debt company. And he is the only person he could get to help is a woman with severe social anxiety who he has to do man on the street interviews, and she's having a hard time with it. All right. He had expected her to be anxious about doing interviews, but wow, she was a real basket case. Still, that didn't change the fact that he had a schedule of his own to keep. The surveillance camera story had to be his top priority. Chiaki would just have to find some way to fumble through things on her end. He headed on down Dogenzaka, scanning his surroundings as he went. There were cameras set up on streetlights all over the place. There were, yeah, it's like the UK. There were so many, it was hard to believe he'd never noticed them before. One over there, they're just over here. Electronic eyes peering down on passerbys from high above, where they were tougher to spot. Just how were the people who came to Shibuya reacting to this situation? Hey, you there! Minorikawa called out to a man riding by on a bicycle. Hey, you! Stop! Oh no, that guy! It's the guy who was quote-unquote recycling earlier. The man brought his bike to a sudden stop. The man, Taisei Yasuda, proprietor of a knick-knack shop in Udagawacho, roughly 30 minutes earlier, while he was wandering along the JR tracks picking up lost and abandoned items, Achi foisted off his trash onto him, and so he's in a bit of a foul mood. Since then, he's been going along on his bicycle, still picking up things from the roadside. There's a trunk on the back of his bike where he stores his finds. That's the man. That's that man. He's that guy. Huh? What's the matter? He asked. Hi, the name is Minoru Minorikawa. I'm a freelance writer. Okay. I'm just doing interviews for a magazine and I'd like to talk to you. A magazine? Which one? 4-Star General Gossip? He's absolutely that guy. Minorikawa did his best to sound proud. Are you that guy? Absolutely. Oh, well, I'm actually in a bit of a hurry here. Minorikawa soldiered on. See that? He pointed at one of the nearby surveillance cameras. It's a surveillance camera. What? The man asked. The blimp? A massive blimp was indeed drifting slowly overhead. Blimp! A type of aircraft that floats using the lift powered by an enormous envelope filled with lighter-than-air gas. This envelope, the balloon, is often used for corporate advertising. This particular blimp has been puttering about the skies above Shibuya since last night. Oh, look, it's an Aya Kamiki, who did the theme song for this game. There you go. No, the camera! The camera watched them both in uncaring silence. Oh, that. What about it? What do you mean, what about it? Those cameras have been installed all throughout Shibuya. They're taking in anything and everything. Privacy be damned. A shocked pallor came to the man's face. Oh, really? He muttered uneasily to himself. I guess I should be careful next time I go picking stuff up. Hey, what are you talking about? Minorikawa asked. Oh, nothing, just stuff. Way to dodge the question entirely. Anyhow, I think there are some good things about the cameras too, the man said hurriedly. Oh? Minorikawa asked. Such as? Well, I mean, they must have helped catch some crooks, right? Yeah, I think you're right about that. Oh, I am? The man looked shocked to have his own statement confirmed. Oh, man on the street interview. I refuse. I refuse. I accept both. I want both things. The ponytail guy. He needs a ponytail. Are you hiding something from me? Huh? No. Nothing in particular. The man shook his head vehemently. Nothing at all, really. Well, whatever, Minorikawa said. In any case, even if the cameras are helping in arresting criminals, there are some places where people just don't want to be watched. I mean, this is like a very common promotional image of the game. For instance, how would you like it if someone set up a security camera inside your home? What do you mean? I mean, a burglar might try to get into your home. If you had a security camera, you could be alerted right away. Isn't that kind of an extreme argument? Nope! You're the one making the extreme argument here! What? The man stared, bewildered. Average journalist? You're saying it's okay for folks to film people around town as much as they might like, but not to take a look inside people's houses. Yeah, I guess I am, the man mumbled. Oh, you're not too late, don't worry. Bro, what is this music? This is, hey, you may not like it, but this is what peak Spike Chunsoft music is like, okay? This is like Danganronpa style stuff. It's amazing. The man mumbled. Minorikawa snorted. You don't think too deeply about things, do you? He mocked. The man huffed in indignation. I don't see the problem, he said. I mean, it's a normal enough opinion to want to bring down crime but also protect privacy. Well, yeah, so? It is, it's like, yes, it's Yakuza 4 side story. It is. It really is. So if they're just going to set up cameras around town, I'm okay with that. Minorikawa grinned inwardly. You're being naive, he said. Way too naive. Naive about what? By now the man was getting worked up. Once you start letting people watch you some of the time, you'll eventually let them do it more and more. That's how the world works. A simple change in camera angle is all it'll take to steal the last traces of your privacy away. That's kind of funny coming from you. Doesn't 4-star general gossip get all its scuttlebutt by invading the privacy of others? Since when are you people concerned with personal privacy? Meaning what exactly? Minorikawa asked. You know damn well what I mean. Have you no shame? I've got nothing to be ashamed about. Minorikawa exclaimed. Remember when this game was about a kidnapping? If some celebrity scandal breaks, I write it up in the form of a top-class, socially conscious expose. That's the Minorikawa seal of quality. The man rolled his eyes. Please, as if anyone's ever heard of that. Your everyday freelance reporter would say something about how security firms have no right to use cameras to disrupt personal privacy. Look at that. The finger's right there. But not me. Oh, no. I'm the only guy who'd write a first-class piece on the subject. And you want to know why? The man's only response is a doubtful look. Because privacy only exists for me to utterly demolish it. What is this scene? What is this? Minorikawa finished with a prideful grin. That's nothing but journalistic arrogance, the man railed. Oh yeah? Yeah! I'd rather have surveillance cameras any day if the alternative is some weird gossip piece. This time, Minorikawa didn't have a handy retort. An awkward silence descended over the pair. Right. I see. Minorikawa muttered to himself as he busily scribbled in his notepad. The man was visibly taken aback. Thank you for your cooperation, Minorikawa said at last. You gave me some good stuff. He held up a hand to forestall an angry retort. I realize I probably got you a bit riled up. You'll have to forgive me. What? The man peered up at Minorikawa in disbelief. This is just my interview style. Sorry, I know it's a little unorthodox. Buddy, you're a weirdo. You know that? The man said. Yeah, I hear that a lot. Minorikawa. Yeah, I'm glad we're done with all the, the kidnapping, secret virus testing, assassinations, and all that. We're just, there's a girl who can't get out of her cat costume, and there's a journalist going around trolling people. This is what the people are here for. So can I go now? Sure. I'll quote you as passerby A in my article. Sure. Whatever, the man muttered. He quickly sped off on his own bicycle. Minorikawa now had some material for his surveillance camera piece. He wanted to organize what he'd managed to put together so far. He decided to head toward his next interview location, keeping an eye out for a cafe where he could stop to work on his copy. There's another Ayakamiki sign. He used the map included in the project proposal to guide him. It was hard to read the words and make out the details, but it looked like the Nakane building, where the Burning Hammer demo was being held, was just down Center Guy. There was no indication of which floor the event would be held on. That made him a little anxious, but he'd probably be able to find someone to point him in the right direction once he got to the building. He spotted a cafe up ahead, the Collabo Cafe. Coffee, please, he shouted as he strode inside. He slumped down in an open chair. Yeah, that's how I order in a coffee shop. I just go, hey, coffee! And I sit. Hopefully he'd be able to hole up in here until 1 o'clock, working on his article. If he couldn't have it done by then, finishing the whole issue by the end of the day would be a tall order. He pulled a cigarette from his overcoat as he waited for his computer to boot up. This is now an R-rated game. Having a smoke was Minorikawa's little trigger for going into writing mode. Writing mode, the state of being in a mood to write some text. As Minorikawa goes about his job, he switches between writing mode, interview mode, food mode, and sleep mode. When busy, he'll sometimes go into writing mode and food mode at the same time, sometimes even straying into sleep mode in the midst of food mode. When he's even busier, he'll eat and write mid-interview while nodding off. This is known as ultimate mode. Oh no, he's popping his ult! Look out! He stuck the cigarette in his mouth and lit it up. With the first heavy draw of smoke, he felt his mind focus. The rough idea for his article came to his head, nearly fully formed. All he needed to do now was get it all written down. Finally, his laptop finished booting up. Took you long enough, pal, he muttered to the computer. His hands leapt to the keyboard like a predator pouncing on its prey. What is this? In a matter of moments, he had hit his stride. His fingers clicked away. One by one, lines of text filled up his screen. A waitress stepped up beside him. Excuse me, sir. But Minorikawa was in writing mode. He didn't even hear her. Sir, I beg your pardon. Again, Minorikawa was deaf to the waitress's attempts to get his attention. Sir, excuse me! The waitress smacked the table. Quiet! Minorikawa snapped. He slammed the table right back. Don't interrupt me when I'm working. Not if you know what's good for you. The waitress, she was from earlier, didn't so much as flinch. She leaned in aggressively, getting right in Minorikawa's face. Waitress Ikumi Omiya, employee at Collabo Cafe. While appearing cute and demure at first glance, she's quite strong-willed and frightening when angry. She works nights at a place called the Scolding Pub, where customers rent private rooms in which they are scolded at length by attractive girls. This is a Yakuza side story. One middle-aged businessman once told her, "Your face looks simply marvelous when you're angry." Oh my gosh. Sir, I hate to bother you, but I have to ask you to please refrain from smoking. Minorikawa blinked. Huh? This is a non-smoking establishment, sir. No smoking? Minorikawa asked. The cigarette bobbed in his mouth as he spoke. The waitress pointed sharply to the sign on the wall. The words "no smoking" were spelled out clear as day, in English even. He asked the patrons please not smoke, so that customers can fully enjoy the aroma of their coffee. The waitress drew herself up in arrogant triumph. A woman sitting at the table next made a face as she tried to fan the smoke away with her hands. Customers all around the shop were glaring at him. "You guys don't know the first thing about the aroma of coffee," Minorikawa scoffed. "The scent of coffee only truly comes to life amidst the choking stench of tobacco smoke." The waitress's only response was to jab her finger again. But this time she didn't point at the sign. She pointed to the door. "Sir, if you're going to smoke, please take it outside." Sometime later, sitting inside the Café Lautrec, Minorikawa lit up his third cigarette. "Hey, we know there's a couple people at Café Lautrec right now who are waiting for a certain Shinya Kano to finish this whole kidnapping business so he can go learn how to be a family man." Also, Lautrec, Dark Souls 1, right? At last, safe refuge. It had taken him quite some time to find a place that allowed smoking after he got kicked out of the first cafe. Place that allowed smoking. In recent years, this is 2008 by the way, many cafes and restaurants have phased out the concept of the smoking section in favor of prohibiting smoking across the board. This makes a place like Lautrec especially important to smokers. There are large air vents in the ceiling to help keep the interior more agreeable for those who do not smoke. Now he was in a rush to make up for lost time. His fingers flew over the keyboard at lightning speed. The more he wrote, the harder he focused. At this rate, he'd have the story wrapped up in no time. "Today, you hear me?" A voice intruded suddenly on his awareness. One of the other customers was shouting. I wonder who it was. "You're breaking up with that fellow today!" Minorikawa's fingers drifted to a halt. "It is!" He looked around to see where the voice had come from. We still don't get to see what Rumi looks like. I don't remember if we ever get to see what she looks like or not. An older man, red in the face, was shouting at the young woman who sat across from him. "Please, Dad," the woman pleaded. "Stop! You're making a scene!" Ah, father and daughter then. It was rare nowadays to see a father behave so imperiously toward his own daughter. Just how sheltered had he been trying to keep her? Minorikawa couldn't see her face from where he was sitting, but his interest was piqued. Should he move to another seat where he could take a look? Or he reminded himself, let's move. Should he move to another seat where he could take a look? Gathering up his laptop, Minorikawa switched to a different table. "I don't care if I'm making a scene," the older man was saying. "I'm not leaving until I see you cut ties with that boy, do you understand?" "I understand that you're never happy unless you get your way. You're acting like a spoiled child." "Don't you talk back to me! You don't understand your own situation. You're letting your emotions cloud your judgment without putting any thought into your future." "No, Dad, you're the one who doesn't understand." The father-daughter argument was getting more and more heated. Dad was clearly furious. Minorikawa shifted closer, curious to see what might happen next. Then he saw the daughter's face and gasped out loud, "Oh no." "Oh, hey, I know you! Wait, you're on TV, right?" The father scowled up at him. "You must be mistaken," he said gruffly. "No, I'm sure of it," Minorikawa said. "Gah, what show am I thinking of?" The young woman seemed disconcerted by his enthusiasm. Who was she? He called out to a waitress who was passing by. "Hey, miss, do you know this gal? She's an actress, right? It's right on the tip of my tongue. This is going to be a bad end. It's going to be a big old bad end, but I'm loving it." The waitress ignored him, but Minorikawa was undeterred. I know this. Weren't you in one of those TV dramas or something?" TV dramas. Minorikawa is probably thinking of a series starring Mahasi Nagahama, possibly Operation Kolkhoz, The Last Frenchman, touched by a tuna, or Sailor Moon Pies, all of which received high viewer ratings and are fondly remembered in the public consciousness. Was this the localization, or is this close? Oh my gosh. Right, we're leaving, the father grumbled. He rose from his seat, radiating aggravation. Huh? The young woman said, but not wanting to hear her objection, he grabbed her by the hand and stormed out of the cafe. Hey, hold on! Minorikawa squawked. His plea fell on deaf ears. All he could do was watch them go, then shuffle back to his seat in disappointment. What was her name? I should have asked for her autograph. Mumbling under his breath, Minorikawa went back to typing. Oh, it wasn't a bad... That's got to do something for Kano later. Something bad's gonna happen to Kano because of that, I bet. What's that? His hands went still as a strange noise intruded on his reverie. Whatever it was close by. What in the world is that sound? I need to get to the bottom of this, or never mind. Let's get to the bottom of it. I need to get to the bottom of this, or I'll never be able to concentrate. Just where the heck is that sound coming from? He searched his surroundings for a moment and quickly discovered that the noise was coming from his own bag. He pulled out one of the most important tools of his trade, a bug detector. Really? An instrument for finding listening devices. Since wireless listening devices emit radio signals, bug detectors are designed to use wide area receivers to reveal their presence. Using a detector to find something in this fashion is known as fox hunting. It was on, and it had picked up a signal. To a reporter, information, life. That made owning a bug detector a sensible precaution in his line of work. Well, with the device in hand, Minorikawa casually scanned the area. Eventually, he zeroed in on the signal. He stood up. Everyone, your attention, please, he announced. Someone set up a listening device in here. That is Osawa's wife. What is this? Why is every plot line converging in this cafe? Several cafe patrons turned their heads in disbelief. A woman wreathed in pungent perfume flashed him a disagreeable look. Oh, come on. That's ridiculous, she huffed. There's something fishy going on. The only thing fishy right now is you, the woman declared disdainfully. Why don't you get out of here and let everyone enjoy their meals? No, I smell a scoop. You what? You, what's your name? None of your business, that's what. Now hurry up and stop that awful noise. The other customers were starting to murmur loudly. There's a listening device here, folks, Minorikawa said. How can that not bother you? Do you know where it could be? Excuse me, the woman called out. Could someone please do something about this man? The waitress hurried over. Sir, please, you're bothering our other customers. There's a listening device in here, and that's what people should be bothered by right now. The waitress took a reflexive step backwards at the words, listening device. You're the one who's intruding on everyone, the woman shouted. Honestly, could you please stop that racket? It's not me making the racket. It's the bug tracker. Just who the hell do you think you are? Police! Somebody call the police! Ma'am, please calm down, the waitress said. There are other customers here and... I'll calm down once you get this disrespectful bore out of here. All I'm doing is sharing the truth. You can't kick me out for that. The waitress wavered, clearly intimidated by both of them. You've sure got a lot of nerve, the woman snapped at Minorikawa. Go play detective someplace else. I'm not a detective. I'm a reporter. Really now? By far my least favorite profession. Okay. Eyes winning some points back. Oh, and why is that? Did someone read a story about you, lady? Got skeletons in your closet? You shut your mouth. How dare you? Yeah, I smell a scoop here, all right. And the smell is coming from you! Now stop it with your scoop nonsense already! It's no use trying to hide things from me. You have no idea what you're talking about. Oh, yes, I do, lady. Go to hell. After you! Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah, blah. What is happening? Blah, 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 blah. As they shouted over each other, their words blurred together until they were barely words anymore. The onlookers could only hear indistinct, meaningless raving. Frank raving. And still the yelling went on and on and on. Eventually there came the sound of approaching sirens, but even when a police cruiser pulled up outside the cafe, the two didn't slow their bickering. Bad end. Bad end. Yeah, bad end. Sniffing for a scoop. Minorikawa lost his cool and got drawn into an argument with a stranger, giving no thought to the consequences. By the time he came to his senses in a jail cell, it was too late to save. 4-star general gossip. Maybe worrying about weird noises can wait. Right now, finishing up that article sounds like a better idea. Okay. That's a pretty strong hint about how to push things forward for him. Oh, I love it. I love it. That's okay, time chart. Let's make the better choice. Let's be a better man. Here. Never mind, I need to focus. Oh, never mind, I need to focus on finishing this article. Minorikawa tried to immerse himself in his writing again. Before long, he stopped worrying about the curious sound. Time passed. Eventually, the pace of his writing slowed down a bit. When Minorikawa glanced at his watch, it was later than he'd thought. Pretty soon, he was going to have to head over to get an interview from that diet drink people. He reached into his bag for the project proposal to double-check the demo location. Huh. The proposal, it's gone. Crap, where the heck did it go? He checked all around the table, but he didn't see it anywhere. Maybe he'd left it at the other cafe, the non-smoking place? Well, he didn't have time to go back for it now. His phone rang. What now? Minorikawa snapped as he answered it. A tiny squawk came through the receiver. It was followed by the sound of sniffling sobs. I'm sorry. Chiaki? Was she done with her interviews? Maybe? It's no use. People won't stop to talk no matter how hard I try. Her voice broke up into further sobs. Oh, come on! This again? Really? I can't do it. Don't worry about paying me. Just please let me go home. Minorikawa was already operating on a too-tight schedule. He didn't have time to worry about Chiaki on top of it all. Look, just slow down and take a breath. Try and keep it at it a little longer. He should have seen this coming when he first called her. Her shyness was practically pathological. But if he cut her loose now, all his frustration would be for nothing. But I can't do it, Chiaki whined again. Please, just forget you ever called me. Oh boy. Intervention is going to be required. She hung up before Minorikawa could get another word in. He tried calling her back, but she didn't pick up. Damn it, Chiaki. Don't you dare bail on me! Leaving money for his coffee on the table, Minorikawa jumped up and bolted from the cafe. The plaza outside Shibuya Station was as crowded as ever. Minorikawa looked around, but there was no sign of Chiaki. She bailed. Minorikawa dropped to his knees in despair. Oh no. His last hope had up and left. There was no one else he could even ask. Damn it. Alright then. Fine. I'll do it myself. He dragged himself back to his feet. Alright. Listen up. He shouted at the passing crowd. Again, I wonder if these people are in on it or what, if they're just like truly random people walking by. Because there is a guy in the bottom left. He's looking directly at the camera. So, like, I wonder. I'm doing street interviews. Here, starting now. You guys, shut up and help me. I mean, don't shut up, but help me. Oh no. He wound up blowing way too much time just to get 2 pages worth of content, leaving himself unable to finish the other articles. In the end, the issue of 4-star general gossip never made it to the newsstands, and Heaven Publishing went down for the count. Hello! Like, the dark humor of that. It's great. Bad end. Number 23. Chiaki calls it quits. Yeah. Without Chiaki, Minorikawa just couldn't get the gossip finished in time. What made her run off, though? Chiaki shows up in Kano's story at 12:10. One of the decisions there is what ultimately put her over the edge. Okay. We gotta fix something in Kano's storyline? Okay. Alright, let's see. Let's do Kano. Yeah, let's Kano. Kano had been watching Syndicate members hand off the attaché case for an hour and a half. He still had no idea where this relay might be headed. The man he was tailing now was about 10 meters away, close enough that Kano could close the distance and apprehend him at a moment's notice. But his orders remained the same: follow and observe. He watched as the case was handed off once more. Now the shock of seeing it pass to yet another accomplice had worn off. Already been 90 minutes, huh? He's back! It was Sasayama. At some point, he'd crept up on Kano from behind. Still in his anime shirt. Oh, they don't seem like they're trying to get away at all, Kano said. They're just walking. What could they be up to? Sasayama shrugged. Yeah, it's weird. Kano recalled Dick Dictum number 89. Translation. Dick Dictum number 89. The more irrelevant something seems, the more relevant it's bound to be. If Tatano's wisdom held true, the Syndicate might have some reason for what it was doing. Were they just trying to throw the investigators off their scent? No, that couldn't be it. They were wandering in circles, staying right in the same area. They were just running up the clock. What if that's exactly what they were after, buying time? Kano felt a sudden conviction that he was on the right track. If they needed more time to make sure they got their hands on the ransom payment. Wait, hold on. Could it be that the real case had already been switched out? The ransom money wasn't even in the case anymore? I think the real case had already been switched out. Probably. Could it be that the real case had already been switched out? It made a certain amount of sense. By handing the case off to one accomplice after another, they were leading the detectives to pay more attention to the individuals than the case itself. That could enable them to swap the case while all the focus was elsewhere. Kano shared his hunch with Sasayama. I see. I mean, it's a possibility. Yeah, we might be following the wrong case. There was palpable tension in the air now. Kano, Sasayama said, you gotta report into Kuze. On it! Kano's hand flashed to his wireless. But Kuze was dismissive. No, that's the case, I assure you. No offense, sir, but how can you be sure? Kuze sighed. Because that's my job. There's an ID tag in the case that allows us to keep tabs on it. There's no way these crooks could have whipped up a duplicate. ID tag? What ID tag? Wait, no, that's right. Kano had forgotten all about that detail in the wake of his all-nighter. All right. Don't you all right me. Clearly you weren't hired for your brains. Focus on what you're good at. Kuze ended the call. Still, Kano couldn't shake the conviction that something was off. The man with the attaché case made his way back to Shibuya Station. This a different man than before, perhaps? The heck? Sasayama grumbled. He's right back where he started. Kano felt his frustration growing. It honestly looked like the Syndicate was just randomly lugging the case around town. Near Shibuya Station, a girl approached the suspect. Oh no, it's her! She was Japanese and entirely unlike any of the other criminal accomplices. I know who that is! She spoke to the man while showing him something on a notepad. He glanced at the pad but did not slow down. Within moments, he had left her behind. It looked like she just passed him a message. Well, that's sure fishy, Sasayama muttered. What, the girl? asked Kano. Yeah, want to go hit her up? Sasayama can only mean one thing, questioning her. Yeah, let's go talk to her. Because I know who that is! Yeah, let's go see what she knows. Sasayama and Kano hurried over to the girl. Excuse me, miss, we would like to ask you a few... Are you happy with your life? The young woman shouted. She thrust her notepad in Kano's face. Tell me this. Are you happy with your life right now? Huh? Looking at the notepad, Kano saw the same question written there in bold letters. The girl's eyes widened in surprise as if she hadn't expected the two men to actually stop and listen. Right now, sir, she continued more quietly. Are you happy? If so, if you could please take this survey about, about your life. Are you happy with it? The more she spoke, the more flustered she became. Sasayama stepped in. Hey, I need to know, did you speak with that Western fellow just now? No, that isn't what I'm asking. Sir, are you happy with your life right now? Are you happy with your life right now? Kano got a sinking feeling in his stomach. This kid was looking for religious converts or something! You did speak with him, didn't you? Sasayama snapped. What did you tell him? The girl's rambling abruptly ceased. Her already ruddy face went even redder and tears welled up in her eyes. Poor kid, Kano thought. She's just out here trying to get people to listen to her survey questions. There's no way she's part of this kidnapping plot. Look, miss, he said, for the time being, it would be a good idea for you to leave the area. Afraid I'm not at liberty to explain. The girl's only response was to start sobbing out. I think we've made the choice that ends with her leaving. I can't do this anymore. I want to go home. Kano and Sasayama exchanged awkward glances. I want to go home. I want to go home. Passers-by began shooting curious looks at the trio. Kano, you get back to work, Sasayama said. I'll escort this girl to the train station. He didn't quite manage to stifle the embarrassment in his voice. I love the anime nerd is going to be escorting her home. Right, Kano said. He hurried away, his eyes already searching for the suspect they'd been tailing. This is ridiculous. It didn't take long to find him. Okay, did this still... That still led to the bad end. Okay, we got to, we got to not question her then. Let's do it. The girl, I'm gonna go hit her up. She can't be involved with this, yeah. She can't be involved with this, can she? Sasayama flashed him a skeptical look. Don't let your preconceptions get the better of you. Could get you killed. Preconceptions. Fixed notions one has about something before the facts are known can be a hindrance to thinking freely. If you think about it too hard, you might fall victim to the preconception, but preconceptions themselves are always bad. Okay. I know that, but still, he doesn't come across as involved to me. Kano knew better than to judge people based on appearance, but he was still convinced the girl wasn't part of this gang. She just struck him as far too, well, inept, really. Alright, I'll go look into the girl, Sasayama said. You keep following the attaché case. Kano nodded and hurried after the man. Let's see if that changed anything. The man's black garb made him stand out in the crowd at the intersection. It occurred to Kano that all of the criminals who'd handled the attaché case had been wearing the same black clothing. That fact made the whole situation even weirder. I'm just curious real quick, did that fix it? It did, okay. But we'll deal with that later. Could they really be ignorant that they were being followed while they were all wearing the same eye-catching outfit? It was more like they were going out of their way to make sure the investigators spotted them. That still didn't provide any clues as to what they were after, though. The longer Kano kept tailing these guys, the less it all made sense. Was it really such a good idea to keep this up? Someone's life was in danger, and they were just letting the kidnappers carry out their plan, whatever it was. The very first page of the Dick Diary spelled things loud and clear on that front. Dick Dictum number 1. Never lose sight of what you're supposed to protect, ever. Right now, the single most important thing was ensuring the hostage's safety. This was a situation where Tantno would have stuck to his guns for sure. Kano thought back to that day 3 years ago. Oh yeah, the gasoline incident? Oh, look at that. A burglar had shut himself inside a financial office and doused the place in gasoline. Kano had just been put on police box duty and was ordered to the scene because his box was just down the street from the standoff. Police box duty. Nobody is assigned to a detective post right after graduating from the police academy. Detective positions can be quite hard to come by. Candidates are selected for detective training only after accumulating enough experience working at the local police box, a very small type of neighborhood station manned by only a handful of officers. Several officers had surrounded the building, keeping close tabs on the situation. The suspect was shouting nonsense through the entrance on the first floor. Things were getting heated. The crowd of alarmed onlookers started to form as well. "Step aside," a voice said suddenly from amidst the throng. A middle-aged man in a rumpled business suit had approached Kano as he hovered nervously at the edge of the scene. "I'm sorry, sir," Kano said. "You have to stay back for your own safety." He attempted to usher the man back into the crowd. A no-nonsense look crossed the newcomer's face. He spoke in a low voice. "I'm Detective Tadno from the Shibuya precinct. What's the situation?" "Oh, sir, I'm so sorry. Yes, of course." Kano stammered, then quickly explained. He hasn't taken anyone hostage, but there are still people on the upper floors of the building. Giving only a slight nod, Tadno marched straight up to the building. The plastic container of gasoline the suspect had used was on the ground out front. Tadno picked it up and dumped the remaining contents out over his head. Kano was at a loss for words. He couldn't believe what he was saying. "Covered myself in gasoline, too," Tadno called out from the entryway. The tension in the air ratcheted itself up several notches. "Hey, the hell do you think you're doing?" Kano heard the burglar shouting from inside. "If you're gonna do it, do it!" Tadno called out. "We can die together!" And he walked into the building. All Kano could do was watch things unfold through the plate glass window. Tadno was talking to the burglar, but Kano couldn't make out the words. The crook was clutching a lighter, his hand trembling. His expression was like that of a frightened child. Tadno slowly approached him and took firm hold of his shaking hand. The onlookers erupted into cheers and applause. Tadno handed the now docile suspect over to the detectives, then wearily sat down against the planter out front. It was like something ripped straight out of a police drama. Our visual novel. "That was amazing," Kano breathed. "You have to deal with guys like that as quickly as you can. Let a situation like this get even a little out of hand. And you never know how things might go south on you." Tadno spoke quietly, almost as if he were talking to himself. As the police evacuated the rest of the building, Kano noticed that there were children and elderly people among them. If the perp had managed to set the fire, there was no way they would have escaped in time. But I mean, what if he'd actually set the place on fire? If someone's willing to risk their life, you're not going to convince them of anything, unless you do the same. Kano still remembered the awe he'd felt in Tadno's matter-of-fact tone. Kano hadn't become a police officer out of any real sense of duty. He just thought it would make Rumi happy if he became a detective like her father. Besides, civil servants tended to stay afloat in times of recession, and his time playing rugby meant he was in good physical shape for the job. He'd never really thought too much about protecting the citizenry or keeping the peace. But now here he was in the presence of a detective who'd literally risked his life in the line of duty without a second thought. Police officer never loses sight of what he's supposed to protect, ever. Getting back to his feet, Tadno tugged off his gasoline-drenched coat and walked away. Kano wrote the words in his notebook he'd just purchased. Thus, the Dick Diary was born. Thinking back to the way Tadno had put his life on the line to rescue a bunch of strangers, made Kano feel all the more raw about just tailing these syndicate members. Letting the crooks just wander around safely wasn't going to bring Maria Osawa to safety. Of that, Kano was now certain. Never lose sight of what you're supposed to protect, ever. He uttered the fundamental dictum out loud. Well, you've lost sight of it completely, a voice said out of nowhere. What? Kano spun around. It was Shizuo. Rumi was with him. Sir? Kano stuttered. Weren't you supposed to be waiting at the cafe for... There was some lowlife there, so we left. Rumi's dad looked plenty mean under ordinary circumstances, but right now he looked like a man possessed. Oh, I beg your pardon. I'm still on duty at the moment. I'm going back home. Shizuo huffed. You're not marrying my daughter. He turned to walk away. No, please, just wait. I'm done waiting. Now I'm going home. Please, don't do this. Just hear me out. I've heard all I need to from you. Rumi, we're leaving. Dad, please. Goodbye. Seizing his daughter by the hand, Shizuo stormed off without another word, dragging her behind. Shinya! She called out over his shoulder. Rumi! She was gone. Rumi was gone. Kano desperately wanted to go after her, but he hesitated in an agony of indecision. I can't turn my back on my responsibilities. I'm a detective. My work has to be my first priority. Going after Rumi isn't what a good detective would do. Oh, Detective Tatano, what should I do? Tatano, hi. Still the dictum echoed in his mind. Never lose sight of what you're supposed to protect, ever. Never lose sight of what you're supposed to protect. Never lose sight of what you're supposed to protect. I. What is it? 6 months later. Okay, this is a bad end. Oh no! 6 months later, Kano made his way through a small corner of a vast field in the Nagano countryside. Slowly and leisurely, he tilled the soil. He'd surprised himself with his own newfound enthusiasm for organic farming, learning more from Shizuo day after day. His father-in-law had taught him the ways of farming from the ground up, and while things had been rocky between them at first, their friendship was now growing strong. Pausing to wipe his brow, he smiled at the acreage around him. He looked forward to tending the crops he'd sown until harvest came around. If he'd stayed on as a detective, he might well have never found the joy he now found in his work. And this wasn't the only seed Kano was planted. By the time harvest season came around, the new life growing within his dear Rumi's belly would be ready to celebrate it with them. Bad end? What? Number 17, we got married. Oh no. Kano went after Rumi and Shizuo, proving his devotion and earning her hand in marriage. Now he's a farmer in Nagano, and crime in Tokyo is someone else's problem. But hang on a sec. Why weren't Rumi and Shizuo waiting at the cafe like they were supposed to be? Well, there's no way for Kano to know about how one man's bit of curiosity at the cafe led to this strange twist of fate. Alright, well that's just the worst. Yeah, we gotta prevent Kano from having a happy life. Oh my goodness. Alright, so, hang on a second. Norikawa, peculiar father-daughter pair. Let's ignore that. That is the second weird... No, that is the weirdest bad end. The Osawa one we got last time is the weirdest. This is the second weirdest. Norikawa, interest was piqued. No. He reminded himself he needed to finish his article. Yeah. Besides, if this young lady looked anything like her father, he'd just as soon pass. Norikawa went back to his typing. It took a few minutes to reestablish his writing groove with the two still bickering across the room, but thankfully, he soon regained his focus. Alright, I think we Alright, Kano has been, freed. Let's go back to Kano. Thinking back, we taught no, all the raw, alright, letting the cook just wander around. Shoot, it's bleeding pretty bad, he heard someone say behind him. What? He turned and saw two young men carrying another along. What the heck? There was a towel wrapped tightly around the third's head. Hey, what happened? Kano asked. Shut your mouth. Kano blanched. Can't the attitude, he's trying to help. Another voice cut in. Hey! Sasayama. It was Sasayama. Had he finished dealing with the girl by the station then? What happened to your friend? Out of my way, man. I'm afraid to kick your ass. Look, cook the crap and let me take a quick look. Sasayama unwrapped the towel from around the young man's head. Oh, that's nasty. The young guy was little more than a kid. His head was soaked red with blood. He appeared to be unconscious. Take him to a hospital, call juvenile affairs. Call juvenile affairs. They couldn't just leave him like this, but they were in the middle of a job. They should probably call juvenile affairs. Juvenile affairs. Part of the communal safety section, which handles crimes pertaining to public decency, finances, pollution, and so on. Juvenile affairs deals with misconduct and criminal activity involving minors. Since many SOS members are underage, the Shibuya Precinct's Juvenile Affairs Division has been ramping up its efforts to deal with the gang, although one detective in particular has been using this as an excuse to go on patrol at arcades, ignoring his duties in order to fuel his video game addiction. Kano took out his cell phone so he could call the precinct, but Sasayama stopped him and shoved the two youngsters' badge. Oh crap, you a cop? Sasayama nodded. Who you kids with? The Bamps? Oh no. Shibuya's number 2 gang, its leader Sohei Ikari, has gathered up some big mean dudes in an attempt to make Shibuya his turf. The gang's leadership is inferior to that of SOS, but on an individual level, its members tend to be stronger in a fight. Word is that the rise of the Bamps is one of the reasons SOS has been growing more combative recently. SOS, admitted one of the young men after some hesitation. Who attacked you? Yo, it ain't like that. What was it like then? Infighting? The young man was silent. Sasayama must have been right on the mark. In the course of his police duties, Kano picked up a fair amount of street gossip from the young people in Shibuya. Lately, the scuttlebutt about the legendary SOS gang was that they were dealing with some internal strife. Look, don't worry about it. I get it. There's a hospital just down that way. Hurry up and get in there. The young man batted off Sasayama's offered hand and quickly hauled his friend away. Sounds like SOS is on the verge of breaking up with those infighting, huh? Kano asked. He kept his eyes on the young men as they headed off. Yeah, seems like it's been pretty rough. You know, what with the original leader leaving and all? The detectives in Juvenile Affairs were well acquainted with SOS's original leader, which we know who it is too. That would be Achi Endo. Initially, SOS was nothing more than a small group of like-minded young people who hung out together, but as its membership grew, the general public began referring to the group as a gang. Word has it that back when Achi was in charge, gang members were never started any conflicts themselves, but simply responded in kind when others brought fists their way. Okay. The stories were like something out of some after-school special. There were tales of them taking down gangs who sold drugs to kids, or breaking into Yakuza front offices to save their friends. The detectives with Juvenile Affairs took these stories with a grain of salt, but if there really were young people like that out there, I don't hope to meet them someday. The detectives had to hurry to catch up with the man they were tailing. He was still strolling along, seemingly in no particular hurry. They kept him in sight as he crossed another pedestrian overpass and circled back around. Still following the same MO, huh? Sasayama grumbled. Guess so, Kano said. How'd things go with the girl? He was careful not to take his eyes off the mark as they talked. You were right. She's not part of this. Just one of those street evangelists or something. They both think that. I love it. Oh, yeah? Yeah, she kept asking me, but are you really happy with your life? Freaked me out. Bailed out of there quick. So Sasayama, thinking the attaché case is going to get handed off again any moment now. Huh? Sasayama appeared at the mark, who was scanning the plaza he just entered, apparently looking for something. I take one side, you take the other, Kano suggested. Sasayama's eyes went wide. Say what now? That way we apprehend both perps involved with the handoff. Sasayama didn't reply. Look, HQ isn't thinking about the hostage's safety, Kano said, but that needs to take priority here. Sasayama's face took on a rare solemnity. Disobeying a direct order is not something to do lightly. Disobeying a direct order. A detective's behavior is governed by the Local Public Service Act. Article 32 states that a detective is to faithfully follow the orders of his superior in the course of his duties. Violating this is punishable by a warning, reduction in pay, suspension from duty, or dismissal. In the event of a warning, not only is the individual expected to submit a formal letter of apology, but pay raises may be delayed or performance bonuses cut. Nice. Then after a moment he added, but I'm still on board. I'm sick of all this wandering around anyway. That's the Sasayama I know, Kano replied with a chuckle. Sasayama gave him a silent thumbs up. The two detectives took up position on opposite sides of the plaza. Kano called up Sasayama on his cell phone. "You ready?" he asked. "Just give the word." There were only two non-Japanese people in the nearby crowd. Both were eyeing their surroundings anxiously. Kano was certain a handoff was about to take place, and then... Well, if it isn't Mr. Toyama. Kano's ears perked up at the sound of an aggressive cheering, the voice dripping with feigned cheer. Oh no! He rolled around to see two rough-looking young men confronting a father and his daughter. It's the Yakuza guys. Oh no! I love it. The older man looked pained. "Please, just hold on," he said placatingly. "I thought we agreed on 4 o'clock. The young man snarled. "Don't you try and play dumb with us, buddy." "It's nothing like that, I swear. A girl was just hungry. So I stepped out to..." "Yeah? How come you didn't just order delivery, huh?" "Ah, yes. Right. I suppose that would work too." "Don't you me, man." Kano watched the argument uneasily. The stranger's altercation put him in a bit of a spot. The crook he was tailing probably wouldn't risk handing off the case with an uproar like this going on. "What's going on over there?" Sasayama asked. "I'm not sure," Kano replied. "Looks like some kind of argument. The suspect's gonna get wary on us. It's gonna screw us up the whole hand-up." "Yeah, I know. So do something about it and get over here," Sasayama said. "What?" "Find some way to shut them up and then get over here." "Oh, sure, all right." Kano headed toward the argument. He was only halfway there when Sasayama called again. He sounded panicked. "Hey, Kano!" He made a run for it. "Huh? Oh, crap." The man they'd been tailing had vanished in the brief time Kano had taken his eyes off of him. "Wait up," Kano shouted. "He's still carrying his anime bag. I love it." Sasayama was racing after the suspect and Kano rushed to join him. The man was surprisingly quick, however, and neither detective managed to catch up. In fact, they soon lost sight of him amidst the teeming crowds. Frantically, they dashed through the streets as fast and as hard as they could. "Is this a bad end?" "We lost him," Sasayama admitted at last. "Damn it." He stamped his foot on the asphalt in disgust. "Director Kuze?" Kano gasped over the wireless. "I'm sorry, but we lost the man with the attaché case." There was a heavy sigh on the other end of the line. Kano braced himself. He wasn't going to be able to weasel out of this with just "I'll do better next time." "Sasayama, Kano, get your asses back to the precinct. Kuze out." With that, Kuze switched off the line. And back to the precinct. Kano knew full well what that meant. They were off the case. And there was a gnawing in his gut. If those two punks hadn't shown up. No. If that father and his daughter hadn't turned up, he might have been able to apprehend the suspect. So somebody else needs to change that. Okay. "Aw, don't let it get you down," Sasayama said. "I mean, paper pushing can be kind of fun." The look on his face, however, suggested he didn't think it was fun at all, not one bit. With the air of two men heading to an execution, Kano and Sasayama trudged back toward the Shibuya precinct. And that's that. Bad end. Yep. Okay. Back to the precinct. Kano was taken off the case because he lost track of the suspect thanks to a random altercation nearby, and his glum conclusion was correct. If that father-daughter duo hadn't shown up, this wouldn't have happened. A certain someone needs to give those two some better advice. And a certain other someone needs to meet up with them outside his or her house. Both of those keys are key to changing poor Kano's fate. Oh, so we gotta have two people do something distinct. Got it. It's getting more complicated. I like it. Okay. Alright, well, we're back to the main menu. I think we're gonna do Achi next, actually. So, hang on. I'm gonna take a quick break, and then we're gonna do some more Achi. Be right back. Alright, we're back. We're back. Time for Achi! Go. Achi and Hitomi scampered through the back roads along Center Guy, white sneakers and pumps slapping the pavement. Achi kept his eyes peeled, continually checking ahead and behind as they darted through the gaps between the buildings. Finally, they stopped in a narrow alley. There's no way he'll find us here, he said. No one knows about this place. He took another look around and let out a sigh of relief. It seemed they'd managed to shake the gunman for now. Back when Achi was with SOS, he had come through Center Guy practically every day. SOS, the abbreviation, as we established before, for the Studs of Shibuya, the name given to the group by Achi when he founded it. Originally just a bunch of like-minded young people hanging out together, it has since become known as the gang that picks fights around Shibuya. The gang had started out as little more than a group of local teens, just like the Tooltips did. They didn't do much in particular, just horsing around and killing time. What mattered was that they were having fun, but it wasn't long before it wasn't all fun and games. Achi couldn't help but notice the slobs who were making a mess of Shibuya, dirtying it all up. He wasn't about to let them get away with it. Most frequently, it was folks who tossed cigarette butts out on the streets or plastered walls and graffiti. When they didn't respond to his more gentle warnings, he found slightly more forceful ways getting his point across. SOS got a reputation. Street punks started trying to pick fights with his members. Those guys required a bit more force to handle. And when it came to the worst of the lot, the drug dealers, the muggers, the guys who tried to force themselves on women, it was full-on battle. No holds barred. Before long, SOS had established itself as something of a vigilante corps. Soon it became known as one of the biggest gangs in Shibuya. Let's lay low here for a bit and see what happens, Achi said. The alley where they hid was like a dimly lit chasm, obscuring them from view. The only problem now was figuring out what to do next. They needed to find that blue van again, which meant figuring out the best way to get back to Dokensaka without the man with the cane catching them once more. Achi, Hitomi whispered. I think I can handle myself from here. She got to her feet and gave Achi a deep bow. Whoa! Achi held up a hand. We've been over this already. You're not gonna be okay. That guy has a gun. If he let her go up against the assassin alone, he might as well be the one to pull the trigger himself. Thank you so much for everything you've done for me, Hitomi continued as if she hadn't heard him. She started to shuffle out of the alleyway. Hey, what did I just say? Really, Achi, I appreciate your concern, but I can't in good conscience put you in danger anymore. But, I mean, Achi tried to press the point, but Hitomi cut him off. There's no good reason for you to risk yourself to keep helping me. Her tone was resolute. Back off. We got to keep helping. Achi was determined to help her anyway. He refused to back down. Determined to help. Look, I want to help people who are in trouble. What's so wrong about that? Huh? He locked eyes with Hitomi, willing her to understand. I'm not the most dependable guy. I know that. But still, Hitomi dropped her gaze and Achi trailed off, feeling like an idiot. Oh, it's no use. I'm no use. He hung his head with a sigh. Just then a bit of light shone into the alleyway from above. It looked like someone on the adjacent building's upper floor had turned on the lights. Is that Tama? It is! The Nakane building. This multi-tenant building has 7 floors, but a decade-old urban legend tells of a mysterious 13th floor. A diet aid sales demo was being held on one of the upper floors today. The light illuminated Hitomi's face. When Achi saw the look in her eyes, he reconsidered his decision. She was trying her hardest to hide it, but she was clearly terrified. No way was he letting her go back out there alone. Still, if he tried to insist, she would only refuse him again. Hitomi, humor me for a second here. Tell me, what's the proper way to dispose of a plastic bottle? She stared at him in surprise. Well, first you remove the cap and the wrapper, then you rinse out the inside and crush it. Achi let out the breath he'd been holding. Okay, good. Huh? I don't understand. What's good? You gave me my reason why I have to help you out. I super respect people who respect the environment. I'm one of those, whatchamacallits, an environmentalist. Achi pointed at his mean, clean t-shirt. Yes! Hitomi hesitated. And what was your plan if you'd said the answer was to toss the plastic in with the trash? Well, then I need to stick with you to help teach you. Environmental awareness begins with good education. So then you were going to tag along with me regardless. Look, I'm just super pumped to learn that you care so much about proper recycling. Achi cracked a huge grin. Okay then. Okay? If you're really that sure about it, I guess I could use your help a little while longer. Hitomi flashed him a little smile. Man, she's so cute, Achi thought. Then something else caught his eye. Huh? What's that there? I love the little weird camera angles in that. It looked like something black was stuck to the top of her head. Achi, what are you staring at? Oh, you've got something stuck there. What? On my head? Without thinking, Hitomi reached up and plucked it off. It was about 10 centimeters long, its body glistening black, sporting feelers and several pairs of legs. Oh no! It's returned! The cockroach has returned! It began to writhe and wriggle between Hitomi's slender fingers. Yeah! Achi, yup, it's a cockroach! He jumped backwards, but Hitomi didn't so much as flinch. Whew. Sorry, that gave me a bit of a start, he continued. Guess it must have fallen from one of the windows up there. Still, Hitomi did not move. Hitomi? She didn't appear to hear him. Hello? Hitomi? Oh. With muffled gurgle, Hitomi passed out on the spot, her body as stiff as a mannequin. What? Hitomi, are you okay? Hitomi! 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 Is that a Metal Gear Solid reference? Yes. But no matter how loudly Achi called her name, Hitomi would not come to. Did she just die? Oh no. What? Did she literally die? From that day onward, Achi devoted even more of his time and energy to collecting trash. It became his personal passion to see that his city was a clean one, devoid of cockroaches. That was the mandate he had been handed, or if nothing else. She literally died! Oh my gosh! His atonement. What?! Bad end, the cockroach! Hitomi passed out after a cockroach fell onto her head from out of nowhere. Well, not out of nowhere exactly. Hitomi and Achi were right underneath the Nokane building, where they're selling Burning Hammer. A cat and a cockroach had been fighting it out on one of the upper floors. The cat was victorious, but if it had run away instead, things would have turned out differently down below. Oh no! Alright, we gotta change. We gotta change something. And then I think we gotta break your keep out too in a minute, but hang on. It was, unless you had challenged the cockroach to an honorable duel instead. Seriously. I snatch up the cardboard box and make a run for it. I snatch up the cardboard box and make a run for it. And as this is gonna go, yeah, okay. Yeah, they're talking about eels again. Alright, and then, there we go. But let's do the jump to Tama now. We can go ahead and get her, unblocked, I guess. The light. someone. Yep. So we jump to Tama. Oh, it's the wrong jump. Oh, that's right. Later on, you start getting jumps that don't actually apply. Right. So Kano's at a bad end. Minorikawa's done. We haven't done anything with Osawa. So... Alright. Let's just do Achi. Somebody. Well, someone. Yep. Here we go. Eliminated. He was clearly terrified. Right. You told me? Alright, yeah. We're proper way of disposing of a plastic bottle. So this is, thankfully, a universe where Hitomi doesn't... Like, we're... Like, Kano just passed out, but apparently, like, she quite literally died of the cockroach. That's incredible. Oh, my goodness. This hour has been, peak. This hour... The story is revving on all cylinders now. Alright. A little while longer. Okay. You told me flashed him a little smile. Man, she's so cute. Yeah. Alright, now we're okay. He's not gonna die. Sneaking out from the alley, Achi and Hitomi began to make their way along the side streets back toward Dogenzaka. It was a pretty big detour compared to taking the main thoroughfares, but that would be worth it if it meant they avoided the man with the cane. Achi looked over at Hitomi as she walked alongside him. Her face was solemn. You could feel the intensity of her worry for her sister. Oh, well, look who's got himself a little cutie. The sudden call startled him. He spun around. Yo, Mean Clean, over here! Achi spotted a young man up ahead, sneering at him. Oh no, at his side were two others. Achi recognized the lot. SOS. Hitomi let out a nervous squeak. Achi! Don't worry about them. He led her onward, attempting to stride right past the trio. Whoa, hey now! You just gonna ignore me? That's pretty rude, especially coming from somebody who used to be an old buddy. The three toughs moved to bar Achi's path. Oh, she is hella fine. Come on, ain't you gonna introduce us? Fine, extremely attractive. The etymology of hella is somewhat unclear, but its meaning is undisputed. Very, a lot of, totally, and the like. Potential synonyms for hella fine include mighty fine, and bangin'. Thank you. Sorry, man, Achi said. I'm in a bit of a hurry here. He gave them a tepid smile. A big hurry, huh? Where to? Some love hotel in Mariamacho? Too rich, another chimed in. She a screamer, Achi? Achi. Take a stereotypical way to poke fun at a would-be amorous couple. Now take Achi's name and there you go. They burst out howling like a gang of monkeys. One of them cackled like a grinning idiot. Achi. Achi felt his anger boil. He would just have to suck it up and ignore them. They were in mean... Yeah, we gotta ignore him. There was too much at stake. He was just gonna have to suck it up and ignore them for the time being. Was that the right choice? I don't know. Hard to say. Gritting his teeth, he tried to slip past them, but the largest of the three grabbed him by the collar. You ran out, man. Susamu's the one who runs this town now. You got no right to keep acting like you're the boss of us. He shoved Achi up against the wall. Says who? Achi asked. Susamu? Say what now? Did Susamu say I've got no right to act like the boss? Please, Susamu ain't got time to worry about you. Ah, is that so? Oh! Achi's fist flashed out, catching the man clean on the jaw. He dropped to the ground with a dull thud. So tell Susamu this. Everyone in Shibuya needs to just play nice and have fun. Achi kept his tone light and jovial, but he eyed the two other toughs like a hawk eyeing its prey. Is he gonna be alright? Hitomi murmured. She looked at the man Achi had laid out with some concern. Oh, I'll be fine. If that's all it took to knock him out, he's got no right to act all badass. Achi, huh? I don't believe I've had the pleasure. Who's this? A taller man with an angry gleam in his eyes had appeared up the steps nearby. He must have turned up during the commotion. He radiated a distinct aura of menace. "That's me," Achi replied. "Just who are you?" For once, it was someone he didn't recognize. Ooh. The name's Yoji Kiryu. Kiryu! Uh-oh. Yoji Kiryu used to roll with a gang from Ikebukuro until a few months ago, known as the Killer Whale of Bukuro. He answered any and all resistance with his fists. His crazy antics led to him being kicked out of the gang, however, and lately, he's been hanging around Shibuya. So is he like the dragon of Dojima? He's the killer whale? I joined up with SOS after you left. Now I'm Susumu's number 2 guy. The newcomer stared at Achi's face, sizing him up. Our legendary founder. I've heard so much about you. The founder. It had been a long time since anyone had called him that. There'd been a bunch of arguing over who would take charge of the new group that was forming to set things straight in Shibuya. At some point, folks had started hailing him as the force behind SOS. It is, it's Kiryu-chan! But founder, that was just something his business buddies called him. He had never paid it much heed. Shibuya was a place for fun, not hierarchies. At least in Achi's mind, that was how it ought to be. Burnings? Like how you busted up some mean old drug dealers, rescued your pals from Yakuza bondage. Here, it is used in the strict sense of captivity. Any other types of Yakuza bondage will not be featured in this game. You're a real hero. Kiryu's tongue flicked from his mouth like a snake's. He told me shuddered. Achi couldn't blame her for being creeped out. But that's all in the past now, isn't it? Kiryu continued. You went modestly on your way. It's up to us now. And we've helped SOS grow by leaps and bounds to help carry on your legacy, no matter who stands in our way. That thought didn't sit right with Achi. If aggressive expansion was the name of the game, the gang was losing touch with its roots. It wasn't about keeping Shibuya safe and fun anymore. Make SOS bigger, huh? He said. I'm guessing that was Susumu's call as well. Kiryu didn't answer his question. His mouth merely twisted into a knowing sneer. In any event, I think these boys here need a little lesson in manners. The guillotine ought to do the trick. A capital punishment device invented in 18th century France. The condemned is executed by decapitation by means of a heavy blade that descends from above, named for physician Joseph Ignace Guillotin, who advocated its use to the National Assembly. Both King Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette were executed by guillotine. The other gang members started an alarm. Whoa, hey, just calm down, man. Please, anything but the guillotine. Kiryu pointedly ignored their pleas. Well, hey, what's the guillotine? Achi asked. Kiryu smirked. The guillotine is the guillotine. What? With me, worms. Without a glance back, Kiryu strolled away. His 2 underlings followed him unhappily. Achi wondered what lay in store for them. But right now, he had more important things to worry about. Come on, let's go. He took Hitomi by the hand, and they were back on their way. Oh, Hitomi perked up. That's me. She reached into her pocket and took out her cell phone. It's the theme song of the game. Huh? Hey, wait, I see a big traffic cone. Be careful. There might be a eye patch man in there. She stared at the screen with consternation. What is it? Achi asked. It's an email from Mr. Tanaka. Who's Mr. Tanaka? He works with my father. I'm not sure what I should do. Achi remembered that the criminal had warned her against contacting her family or the police. She seemed reluctant to even open this message. I'm sure it's fine to just read an email, he said. And besides, he's not the police and he's not your family. Yeah, you're right. Tomi scanned the message anxiously. It sounds like he's worried about me, she said. And does he know about the kidnapping? Yes, I know my father trusts him. And he's always been so... Hitomi cut herself short. Still, it was clear to Achi that she and this Tanaka person had some sort of close relationship. Uh-oh. Jealousy. I wonder if it's safe for me to let him know what the situation is. I think it should be, Achi told her. I mean, the kidnappers aren't going to know you sent an email, right? Hitomi began typing out a response. Hachi watched over her, wild speculations running through his mind. There was no way a mild-mannered young lady like her could be dating one of her father's co-workers, was there? That's a a bump for later, right? Unless she was all about finding herself a sugar daddy. No, he was being ridiculous. Hachi banished the thought from his mind. Besides, Hitomi's personal life wasn't the problem right now. I'm shocked there's not a tooltip for sugar daddy. The problem was that Psycho with the cane and the gun. Is something wrong? Hitomi asked. She finished sending her email. Oh, no, nothing. Nothing at all. Hachi did his best to look nonchalant. It was a good thing she couldn't read his mind. Hey. They exited Center Guy and resumed their approach toward Dogonzaka by way of Maruyamacho. There are many hotels in Maruyamacho. These are not ordinary establishments, but rather the sort of hotel where two people who are so inclined... Oh, so this is called it's a love hotel. Yes. That is basically what it is. Which, fun facts, before Nintendo got into the video game business, one of the things that they tried was running a line of these. Yes. And this is that kind of game. It's certainly not. Another long detour to decrease their odds of running into the gunman. They made an unlikely pair. Scruffy Hachi, limbs lackadaisically swinging to hide his embarrassment, and brisk, purposeful Hitomi. Hachi found himself watching her out of the corner of his eye. He could still feel her anxiety. He wished there was some way he could ease her fears. You're not that game. You're not that game. Absolutely. There was some way he could ease her fears. Hey, Hitomi, mind if I ask you something? Sure, go ahead. Okay, so I realize this might be kind of a weird question, but he put on a serious face. What does the eco and eco-friendly mean? Oh no. Huh? I know it's about helping the earth and all, but I don't know what it actually means, you know? Hitomi thought for a moment. I'm pretty sure it's short for the English word ecology, which is the science of examining the relationship between man and nature. Ecology, a subset of biology that deals with the reciprocal relationship between organisms and their environment. Nowadays, the term can also refer to cultural and social effects on the global environment. The latter usage can be broad and imprecise, making the exact meaning somewhat difficult to define. Alright, science! Pleased with himself, Hachi chatted on excitedly. A faint smile crept back onto Hitomi's face. Say, you ever hear about the clean river here in Shibuya? A clean river? In Shibuya? Really? Ask 100 youngsters outside of Shibuya Station the same question, and you'd probably get that same answer 100 times. Yeah, the Shibuya River. You know, that drainage channel we saw earlier? Wait, that's the clean river you're talking about? By no reasonable definition was the Shibuya River what anyone would call clean. That's the one! Hachi grinned at her confusion. See, the river used to be clean a long time ago. I read about it in this old book called Science Strikes Back. Science Strikes Back, a popular monthly magazine, abbreviated SSB. The series has been running for 29 years now, but the Strike Back appendix is still immensely popular with children. The woman who handles the home deliveries is known as the SSB lady, and children wait excitedly on the 25th of each month for her to make her rounds. That's fictional because it's 428. I used to have that book, Hitomi chirped, her eyes wide with excitement. You're talking about that bit with the river that got turned into a song, right? The famous 1912 song Haru no Ogawa, The Spring Brook, with lyrics by Tatsuyuki Takano and music by Taiichi Okano. It is said that the song was inspired by the view of the upper course of the Shibuya River during Takano's childhood. In the modern day, there is a stone monument bearing the song's lyrics along the Odakyu line between Yoyogi Hachiman and Sangubashi. Yeah, that's the one. You read it too? I did! Hachi felt a giddy rush at this unexpected connection they shared. The river is her favorite Smash Brothers character. Yes! Yes! Confirmed for... Hachi confirmed for the Switch 2 Smash Brothers. Yep. Well, actually, this game originally was on the Wii. So, you know? Imagine if there was still a clean, beautiful river here in Shibuya. It'd be the perfect place for taking a romantic stroll. Hitomi looked up at Achi. She seemed to share his joy in this idea. Wouldn't it be amazing? Achi said, if that dirty little channel could be clean like it used to be? It would. Maybe as amazing on the look on Hitomi's face right now, Achi thought. Hitomi, tell me some more ecology stuff. Hit me with whatever you got. She seemed happy to oblige, and so as they walked along, Hitomi explained the bits of knowledge she'd picked up over the years. Achi was quiet, hanging on her every word. The return to Dogenzaka became an impromptu environmentalism lecture. Hitomi continued until she'd exhausted her ready knowledge. I just don't get it, Achi grumbled when she paused at last. I mean, why is it a bad thing if the planet gets warmer? Wouldn't that make winter in places like Hokkaido way easier? No, you see, because if the whole planet gets warmer, it'll cause the whole ecosystem to collapse. Achi racked his brain. And the ecosystem was what again? Is that like a solar system? Images of the cosmos filled his imagination. No, not really, Hitomi said. So, is it more like a sound system then? Not really. Oh, but anyway, you're saying the problem is with the, what was it again? Carbon dioxide? Yeah, that stuff. I'm gonna have to cut down on that. Sure. I'm gonna have to, cut down on breathing. That settles it, Achi declared proudly. No more soda for me. Soda? Hitomi asked. Yeah, it's carbonated, right? Hitomi burst out laughing. What? I'm serious. You don't think I can do it? I'm sorry, Hitomi said, catching her breath. It's just... Her face froze, her mirth abruptly vanishing. Oh no. Huh? Achi stared at her face in alarm. What is it? Oh no. He turned his attention in the direction Hitomi was looking at. The man with the cane was bearing down on them. Oh, come on, you've got to be kidding me! He grabbed Hitomi's hand and ran. This time he headed for the main road, hoping to get lost in the crowd. Hitomi struggled to keep up. She was exhausted after all that earlier running. You can do it, he told her. The guy's got a cane. We can outrun him. The assassin was still hurrying after them. Once we get around the next corner, we'll be out on the main road. Yeah, okay. She strained to get the words out. Bit by bit, her feet were slowing down. There was another 50 meters or so to the main road. Achi realized that they might get caught before they got there. Sorry, Hitomi, he exclaimed, but I gotta do this! He scooped her up in his arms. Eh. By the time the squeak had escaped her mouth, Achi was already running full out. Achi, please put me down. Don't worry, you're super light. Achi glanced back and saw the assassin, now far behind, break off his pursuit. But just as they rounded the corner, he heard the man call out to him. Achi almost stopped on reflex. Hold on, did he just shout my name? How the heck does he know my name? Quaking with unease, Achi slipped into the crowd. Oh. Achi, could you please set me down now? A meek voice pulled him from his panic. Huh? He looked down at the girl in his arms. People in the crowd all around them were watching and chuckling. I mean, I'm really happy you saved me and all, but being carried around like this is, Hitomi was blushing beet red, but Achi's expression had gone pale. Achi! Wait! Had he really heard that right? That's what it had sounded like. He set Hitomi back on the ground, then used his shirt sleeve to wipe the sweat from his face. You okay? Hitomi asked. When we were running just now, did that guy say anything? Not that I heard, no. Oh. Had he just imagined it then? Maybe Achi was sure he didn't recognize the man. There's something weird about that guy, though, Hitomi murmured. She furrowed a brow. No matter where we run, he keeps catching up to us. It's almost like he knows where we're going. He was right. Finding a particular pair of people in a place as big as Shibuya bordered on the impossible. And yet somehow the assassin had tracked them down several times now. Yeah, Achi said. It's like he's got some way of locating us or something. He got a sudden idea. that's it. What if they're doing the whole tracking thing, but like backwards? What? Hitomi's eyes widened. Okay, so you know how in police shows they always stick a tracking device in the bag with the ransom money? Like that, but backwards. Okay, so backwards isn't the right way to describe this, but Nachi doesn't realize that. He does seem to know what a tracking device is, at least. A radio transmitter that can be located by the signal it emits. The Japanese police sometimes refer to this as a beeper, not to be confused with the English slang term beeper, meaning a pager. Backwards? Yeah, like instead of putting the tracker on the money, they put it on you. Hitomi frowned. I don't see how I could possibly have a tracker on me, she said. I mean, I'm just wearing my clothes from home. Oh, well. And how is he doing it then? Barely a moment passed from the moment he got the words out of his mouth. There he is. Once again, the man with the cane stepped out of the road ahead of them. It really did seem as if he'd known exactly where they were going to be. How the hell is this happening? Hachi groaned. He reached for Hitomi's waist, ready to pick her up again. It's okay. I can run by myself. Hachi took her by the hand instead, and they raced into another alley. This guy will not give up! At the far end of the alley, he could see a forklift parked beside a pile of cardboard boxes. Hachi decided to... drive the forklift? No, throw the boxes. Ugh! Hachi snatched up the nearest box, turned, and threw it at the man with the cane. The box was filled with something heavy. Sought to do some damage. He watched with satisfaction as it struck the assassin in the face. The man staggered sideways. Here, have another! One by one, Hachi hurled every box in the pile. And one for the road! The last box wasn't properly sealed. It broke open as it struck their pursuer, sending several bottles flying. Oh no! They shattered as they crashed onto the street, splashing red liquid. It's burning hammer! It is! The assassin dropped to one knee, scrubbing at his face with his hand. Oh no! He got burning hammer on his face! Hachi looked on in surprise. He couldn't possibly have hit the guy that hard. Peering at the man more closely, he saw that he was spattered in red liquid. Apparently the stuff in the bottles had gotten in his eyes. Now's our chance. Hachi took off with Hitomi, leaving their pursuer kneeling in the alley. I don't think that's going to fare well for Tamo later, because I think we just broke all the burning hammer. Their ragged breathing echoed through the maze of side streets. All that work just to wind up fleeing for their lives again. Hachi ground his teeth in frustration. Ground his teeth. There are two main types of teeth grinding. The subconscious act of gritting one's teeth together while asleep. Gritting one's teeth together as a response to anger or frustration. Here we have an example of two. At roughly the same time, Minoru Minorikawa is grinding his teeth while trying to keep his schedule. Is this... Oh, we can't actually go there. Okay. Hitomi, he groaned when they slowed down to catch their breath at last. I'm so sorry. Hitomi was nonplussed. Sorry? Whatever for? I keep saying I'm going to help you, but instead I just keep putting you in danger. Hachi, no. If you hadn't been with me, I'm sure I'd already be... We finally found a use for burning hammer. We should sell it as a self-defense device. Yes! Yes, we should! No! Hachi hurried to cut her off before she could finish. Don't go there, please. He sighed, then spoke again more quietly. I just want to help you. Clenching a fist, he looked up at the sky. A tiny sliver of blue was visible through the narrow gap between the buildings. Hitomi hung her head. Honestly, I can hardly believe how much you've done for me. I do appreciate it, but still, the lengths you've gone to... Hachi looked at his feet, then drew himself up. Well, I admit it's not just because of some gut instinct or your love for the environment, he said. There's another reason I'm doing this. There is? Hachi paused, searching for the right words. I've got a little sister. Her name's Suzune. She's cute and smart. Kind of the exact opposite of me, you know? His voice took on an uncharacteristic solemnity. But she's got a weak heart. So she's in the hospital. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. But what does that have to do with wanting to help me? Back when Suzune was first admitted, I'd go and visit her every day. But she... What's this? Okay. Hachi, you don't need to come visit me every day, you know. The quiet hospital room made Suzune's voice sound all the more frail. What are you talking about? Hachi said. You know I'm worried about you. I'll be fine on my own, really. Hachi had heard that line before. The more she insisted she was fine, though, the more reluctant he was to leave her. Besides, aren't you the amazing guy who helps hold Shibuya together? They need you out there. Hachi didn't know how to respond to that. Much as it was flattering to think he played some important role, he was really just hanging out and goofing off with his pals. It certainly wasn't anything for his sister to be proud of. I'd rather you spent your energy helping people who need it more than me. What do you mean? People who need the help more? Who could possibly need help right now more than you? Hachi scratched his head in confusion, and his sister gave him a weak, tiny smile. You'll figure it out, she said. I'm sure they'll find you soon enough. But I'm going to be here with you. I'll be fine. Suzune's face was pale, but her tone was firm. My big brother is going to be out there doing his best to help people. That's what makes me happy, and that's what keeps me going. Her voice was clear and unwavering, as if to head off his rebuttal. All right, Hachi said with a reluctant sigh. So then I guess, I'll just go out there and help people who are in trouble? Satisfied, Suzune smiled. Thank you. And can you promise me one more thing? Of course. Anything you'd like. He thumped himself on the chest. If you're gonna help someone, make sure you see it through all the way to the end, okay? Okay. No calling it quits partway through, yeah? You got it. I just worry, Suzune said. I know you have a tendency to lose interest in things. Look, don't sweat it. I swear I won't give up on this. Hachi stuck out his pinky finger. But I want you to promise me something in return. Promise me you won't let this thing beat you. Suzune hooked her little finger around her brother's, her sad smile fragile as glass. And so there you have it, Hachi said. Kind of a rubbish story, I know. Very funny. So your sister's heart condition is pretty bad? Hachi nodded. You know, she called me amazing. Nothing amazing about me. Suzune, she's the amazing one. She's been in the hospital so long, in so much pain, but she never complains. All I do is hang out and goof off with my friends. He gave a shrug. But I just kept thinking about how happy she'd be if I really did help people. It had turned out that finding people in need hadn't been all that simple. The only helpful thing Hachi had been able to think of was going around picking up trash. And that's why Suzune's idiot brother left SOS to be Shibuya's garbage man. Did your friends know? Tomi asked. About your sister? I didn't tell them. I didn't want to pin this all on her being sick. Ah, I see. At least now Hitomi understood what the fight with the local toughs had been about. The sound of approaching footsteps jerked them back into the present. Ah! The man with the cane appeared at the end of the alley. He raised his gun. There was no time to flee. Hachi quickly stepped in front of Hitomi. If you shoot us here, people are going to come running, he said. I'm guessing you don't want to get pegged for murder? The assassin didn't flinch. Stay out of my way, Hachi. This time there was no doubt. The gunman had spoken Hachi's name loud and clear. How do you know who I am? The man stared at him through the sights of his gun. She has to die, Hachi. It's for your own good. What does he mean? Hitomi whispered. Hachi, what is he talking about? Hachi's mind was a whirl. Things were coming at him too fast for him to process. I don't know this guy. Hitomi, please. You have to believe me. But... Hitomi took a doubtful step away from Hachi. The assassin didn't miss his opening. He quickly aimed at her. Cut the crap, man! What do you mean killing her is for my own good? When she's dead, you'll understand. gunman's finger tightened on the trigger. To be continued, right? Knew it. Knew it. To be continued. Okay. Alright, Achi is done. So, let's see. We haven't done any Osawa yet. Let's get a little Osawa in, because we got like 45 more minutes, so let's do that. 2 years ago with Maria. That's right, he's looking for pictures of Maria. The rain won't let up. No matter how much time passes, it just won't stop. Ever since that day, the sound of raindrops has been burned into my mind. Such an awful, heart-rending sound, driving me to strip my own life down to shadows. And yet, no matter what else I abandon, nothing will make the sound of the rain stop. Just more pop music? No? King Solomon's pillars? Osawa stared at a postcard that was nestled into the final page of the photo album. He'd purchased it 2 years earlier, while on a trip with Maria to the Middle East. Middle East, originally used to indicate Iran, Afghanistan, and the regions surrounding them. In modern times, the term refers to part of southwestern Asia, excluding India and Afghanistan, and the section of northeastern Africa along the Mediterranean coast. However, in Japan as well as the US, the term Middle East is often understood to refer specifically to those parts of the region with a strong Islamic influence. He'd mentioned that he was being sent there on business, and Maria had just blurted out, "I want to go with you." She'd recently developed an interest in the Middle East conflict, and apparently she had been yearning to see the area firsthand. The ongoing friction in the Palestine region between the Jewish people who funded the nation of Israel and the Arabs who'd been living there previously. The religious and historical context of this cultural clash is well beyond the scope of what can be elucidated here. Okay, fun. His daughter's newfound curiosity had taken him aback. She had always tended to be quiet and self-contained. The clumsy conversations aboard the airplane, the meals eaten together in awkward silence, it all felt like such a distant memory to Osawa now. Ma'am, I'm afraid I can't let you do that. He heard Kajiwara's voice outside the door. Why ever not? I'm just going out for a bit. The detective was arguing with I. Great. And just who was it who told me I should try to go about my life as normal? Osawa's wife sneered. Ma'am, please. How would you feel about being told to just sit around and wait? I's angry shriek jerked Osawa to his feet. He hurried from the study to try to calm her down. Ma'am, please wait. But by the time Osawa had made his way downstairs, his wife had already stormed outside, despite Kajiwara's attempts to stop her. I love his little booties. Osawa doubted anything he could have said would have stopped I from leaving. Trying to physically keep her from going out would only have made her for an even worse uproar. He was glad that at least it hadn't come to that. He was turning to head back to the study when Kajiwara caught his eye. Oh boy. Resigned, he headed down the stairs and bowed to the detective. Any idea where she's going? Kajiwara asked. I mean, at a time like this? Osawa shook his head. I wouldn't know. I didn't think so. You know, your wife really is something else. Just come out and say it. I love it. Osawa arched an eyebrow. That's one way to describe her. A rather rude way, as a matter of fact. Oh, no offense intended. It's just that, ever since this case started, you've both been holed up in your own respective rooms. And the more Kajiwara spoke, the more irritated Osawa became. What's your point? He demanded. I just mean, you haven't been having any marital discourse. According to one survey, in roughly 6% of households, discourse between spouses is largely non-existent. Various reasons for this were offered by the couples in question. Many claimed they were too tired to have the energy to talk, or stated, "We end up fighting when we talk," or "We have nothing to talk about." "Mind your own business!" Osawa snapped. Kajiwara dipped his head deferentially. Two of us talking isn't a new thing anyhow. Not talking. I have a policy of not having pointless conversations. A policy. It is quite common for Kenji Osawa to make it through an entire day without having a single conversation. On many days he opens his mouth only to eat or brush his teeth. His current record is a streak of 14 consecutive days during which he didn't talk to anyone. Wow. Huh. It didn't look as though Kajiwara quite understood. Microorganisms, such as viruses, don't have conversations. And yet they continually propagate in order to survive. Thinking about viruses, Osawa was back in familiar territory. He felt a surge of confidence. Once you have a clear purpose, conversation is unnecessary. And do you have a clear purpose for the relationship with your wife, Mr. Osawa? Yikes! That is rude and insightful. Of course I do. To be a family. Arms crossed, Kajiwara struck a thoughtful pose. At least I've learned one useful thing today, Mr. Osawa. Namely, you don't like to have pointless conversations. It's a good thing to know. Kajiwara uncrossed his arms for a moment, and crossed them right back again, furrowing his brow. But see, that's funny. You seem to have a tendency to have pointless conversations with me, and... Because you keep coming to talk to me! Osawa saw red. You don't leave me much of a choice! Tanaka poked his head out of the living room. That is such a weird... hang on a second. Hang on. I'm trying to figure this out. 3 doors? 3 different rooms? Or 3 doors going into the same room? Help. I don't understand. And why is it lit red? Why does he look like he's coming out of a sauna? Or hell? So weird. Is something the matter? He asked. No. Osawa struggled to regain his calm. Perfect timing, actually. There's something I need to talk to you about. He turned back to Kajiwara. My apologies, Detective. Would you mind giving us some privacy? Kajiwara didn't move. Detective? Osawa gave the policeman a hard look and saw him crack a smile. Yes? What is it? Kajiwara said at last. Don't you play dumb with me. Give us some privacy. Is this a discussion I shouldn't overhear? Actually, yes, it's work-related. There are business matters I'd prefer to keep confidential. Ah, I see. Reluctantly getting to his feet, Kajiwara slipped away into the living room. Tanaka, Osawa began, about those emails. He stopped abruptly. Kajiwara had reappeared in the living room door, staring right at them. So there is 3 doors into the same room. Why? What are you doing? Osawa demanded. Oh, should I not be watching? Osawa felt like he was about to burst a blood vessel. I mean, who never told me that I couldn't watch? Because it should be obvious! The detective made a scolded puppy face and closed the living room door. Osawa let out a heavy sigh. He'd never been an extrovert, but he didn't recall human interaction being quite this draining. Anyway, sir, Tanaka prompted. You were saying? Yes, about those emails. Something doesn't make sense. I don't understand how Mr. Makino was able to get the antiviral agent to anyone on the outside. Sharing an Okoshi Pharmaceuticals drug with external sources while it was still under development required the approval of an executive committee that included Osawa himself. There should have been no way the antiviral could be sent out without his knowledge. Tanaka hesitated a few moments before responding. Are you aware of the strife between the company president and the chairman? Osawa shook his head. He was a researcher through and through. Factional rivalries held no interest for him whatsoever. Makino effectively leads the chairman's team, and the antiviral agent is their pet project. Despite being the executive officer in charge of the project, however, Makino still needs the president's approval. You know what? Forget about that right now. What do we do about security? In theory, it was physically impossible to get the antiviral out of the lab without detection. Entry to the biohazard laboratory where it was kept required fingerprint authentication from both Osawa and Tanaka. Fingerprint authentication technology that allows an individual's identity to be verified by scanning the fingerprints. It is one element of biometrics, the measurements of physical characteristics to identify individuals. There are even devices that can identify people by checking their veins in the palms of their hands or the irises of their eyes. There we go. Look at that. We're matching the fingerprints. Identified, just like in Phoenix Wright. Without the two of them there, nobody could even get into the storage facility. Because a dangerous virus is also stored there, the lab where the antiviral is kept is protected by an ID checkpoint, as well as a sophisticated 3-tiered lock system that requires fingerprint authentication. Multiple security guards are also posted outside the laboratory entrance 24 hours a day, making it all but impossible for an unauthorized person to get into the secured storage area. Tanaka followed his drift. Ah, yes, I see what you mean. He inclined his head in thought as Osawa continued. Have someone overwritten the fingerprint? Let's check the entry logs. We'll just have to ask Maki. Check the entry logs. Let's check the entry logs for the storage section. Anyone who wanted to get inside had to present their ID card to the security guard on duty. It should be possible to check the computer log to see if there had been any suspicious activity in the system. Tanaka shook his head. I already checked the logs, sir. There was no evidence of anything suspicious. You're welcome to check for yourself, though, if you're that worried. No, I believe you. Yet the fact was that the antiviral had been used for clinical testing. Either Makino had taken it from the laboratory person, or someone working on his orders had done so. But how? Was there really some way they could have bypassed lab security without anyone else knowing? Osawa couldn't think how it would be possible. Oh no. The living room door opened with a soft creak. It was Kajiwara, and he looked stiff and pale. What else is new? Something terrible has happened, he said. Visions of tragedy flooded Osawa's mind. Maria, is she? Kajiwara shook his head. No, it's not that. What is it then? Osawa asked, his voice trembling. Sir, I need you to stay calm. Osawa swallowed a lump in his throat. You see? The toilet's clogged. Oh my gosh. Okay. Wait, this isn't... Oh my gosh. Oh. Plunger in hand. What is this? What is happening right now? You remember when this was like a virus thriller? Plunger. A cleaning utility. Implement consisting of a soft, hemispherical rubber suction cup attached to the end of a dowel. By pressing the cup over the opening of a drain that has been clogged, one can apply suction pressure to jostle the blockage free. Makes a variety of sounds when used, such as glub, glork, schluck, schlorp, schloop, and pop. At least the blockage is unseen. Yes, that's good. Osawa stabbed vigorously at the recalcitrant toilet bowl, struggling to loosen the unseen blockage. Kajiwara was at his side, wiping up the floor with a rag. How did this even happen? Oh no, how did this even happen? The detective groaned. Are you kidding? I was hoping you could tell me that. The plunger sucked and slurped at the porcelain face. This was a first for Osawa. He had never tried to unclog a toilet before in his life. Think of it as a blessing in disguise, Mr. Osawa. I don't know what you're talking about. What about this constitutes a blessing? I just meant that at least this happened before you needed to, do your business. Without the slightest hint of guile on his face, Kajiwara picked up his bucket and headed for the sink back in the washing area. Grumbling to himself, Osawa pumped the plunger over and over again. This was almost funny. Most ridiculous, in fact. His daughter had been kidnapped, and he was stuck unclogging a toilet. He was quite possibly caught up in a major corporate conspiracy, and here he was, unclogging a toilet. I love this game. I love this game. Game is amazing. Tanaka poked his head into the bathroom. Did you fix it yet? If you need to urinate, then use the restroom on the second floor. That's all right. Here's fine. Tanaka stepped in beside him and abruptly shut the bathroom door. What is going on? Now the two men were crammed together in the narrow lavatory. Hey, what are you doing? Tanaka made eye contact with Osawa via the mirror. He spoke in a hushed voice. I've been waiting for a moment I could get you alone. What? Tanaka sidled around to face him, giving him an intense stare. Sir, could you please be quiet for a moment? Tanaka had tears in the corners of his eyes. This'll only take a moment. Osawa could feel the warm breath of his deputy whispering against his cheek. Tanaka reached for something inside his coat. Let's see. Hey, come on, knock it off. Look, if you want to talk, we can do it out there. Osawa shoved Tanaka. Lifted the... Let's go out of the bathroom. Look, if you want to talk, we can do it out there. Osawa shoved Tanaka out of the bathroom. Hey, hold on, wait! With Osawa still pushing against his back, Tanaka reached out to his suit pocket and fished out his cell phone. Here, take a look at this. Huh? Osawa could never have anticipated what he saw on the LCD screen. It's, it's the text he sent to, Hitomi, right? It's gotta be. So, the jump. Yeah, father. I love that even the semi-serious storyline gets ridiculous. Mild-mannered young lady like her could be dating one of her fathers. There we go. We're gonna break that keep out right now. That's right. Boom. Here, take a look at this. Huh? Osawa could never have anticipated what he saw on the LCD screen. It was an email from Hitomi. Stifling an exclamation, he scanned the contents of the message. There's a man following me. He has a gun, and I think he's trying to kill me. I'm safe for the moment, so try not to worry. The kidnapper warned me, told me not to contact my family or the police. Please keep this email a secret. But didn't you tell me give the kidnapper the ransom? Osawa said. What could anyone want with her now? Tanaka shook his head, uncertain. He wouldn't know any better than I would, I suppose. Did the police know about this? And if so, why haven't they said anything? He felt himself start to tremble as he searched for answers in Tanaka's silent gaze. Do you think this could be related to that other thing? I doubt it. If it were, why would they go after Hitomi? I suppose you're right, but Sawa was shaking all right. Tanaka laid a hand on his shoulder. First, just calm down, and let's think about what we know about the kidnapper. His composure helped Osawa keep himself under control. They've taken Maria. The vice director continued quietly. along with a ransom of 50 million yen. And now they're after Hitomi. Wait! This view is from the toilet up? I just realized, I was like, what are we looking at? His gaze sharpened. Sir, do you think this could be someone who holds a personal grudge against you? Grudge? Osawa considered. He couldn't think of anyone who would have a reason to attack him. He'd been too caught up in virus research since his time in school to have formed any hostile rivalries. He didn't have any enemies that he knew of. Maybe someone's jealous that I became head of a laboratory? He suggested doubtfully. He had held his position for years at this point. Why would that spur someone into kidnapping his daughter now? Has anything happened recently? Tanaka asked. Anything strange since you got back from overseas? Well, since I got back. Osawa's heart skipped a beat, then started pumping faster. The first thing that came to mind was the solicitation he'd gotten from the American laboratory. If he accepted the offer, it would put Akoshi Pharmaceutical in quite a bind. Possibly enough to warrant someone holding a grudge over it, but the only other person who knew about that potential transfer right now was his wife, No, Osawa said. Nothing. Not that I can think of. He couldn't bring himself to discuss the transfer with Tanaka. He felt a surge of guilt for contemplating leaving his trusted assistant behind. If he did make the move to America, he planned to recommend that Tanaka replace him as department director. Still, he didn't expect that to make up for his abandonment. All right, I'll see what information I can find then, Tanaka said. The kidnapper had forbidden any contact with either family or the police. But Tanaka was outside of that circle, and he knew how to handle himself with discretion. I'm sorry to have put this on you, Osawa said. And thank you. For now, let's see if we can get Hitomi to exchange some more emails. An uncomfortable thought suddenly occurred to Osawa. He blurted it out without thinking. Why do you have my daughter's contact information on your phone? Tanaka gave him a worried look. Sir, I promise I can explain once this is all over. And with that, he stepped out of the bathroom. Something in the tone of his final words left Osawa to wonder, could it be that Tanaka and Hitomi were dating? He hoped dearly for that not to be the case. Their age difference alone made the idea a disturbing one, let alone so many other considerations. Mamoru Tanaka is 40 years old, Hitomi is 19. This makes him just over twice her age. This does not necessarily mean, however, that they could not date or fall for each other. Many couples with such an age difference between them wind up in a happy, committed relationship. I love that that's the 428 logo, meaning that this is the fiction. Trying to put aside his paranoia, Osawa resumed his struggle with the clog in the toilet. Most toilet clogs are caused by a buildup of flushable paper products or by solid objects inadvertently dropped inside the toilet bowl, but shockingly enough, on very rare occasions, that can be caused by someone taking a dump that happens to be that big that it gets stuck in the pipe. Apologies to anyone who might be eating right now. This is the best hour so far. Oh, goodness. Kajiwara reappeared, still toting the bucket. Wow. That guy is way too good at being creepy. You seem to be having a lot of trouble there, sir. He made it sound like the whole mess was Osawa's fault. Of course I am. I've never had to do this before. Really? I think the research you do would be a lot more difficult than this. Fixing toilets doesn't give me far more trouble, I'd say. So it would seem. Kajiwara stood watching as if Osawa's efforts made an interesting show. I don't know the first thing about viruses, sir, but I don't find unplugging toilets to be that difficult. Oh yeah? Osawa snapped. Then how about you fix the damn thing? Kajiwara really was a world-class pro at pissing people off. Are you sure? You don't mind? The detective asked. Be my guest! Osawa shoved the plunger into Kajiwara's hand. This is amazing. This is amazing. Leaving the detective to handle the toilet, Osawa marched back to his study. Hey! He turned on the CD player and lay back on the sofa, squeezing his eyes shut. That's not a sofa, but okay. That's the menu theme. He was seriously on edge. Kajiwara had totally broken his stride. What now? The door to the study slid slowly open. Oh no. It's Detective Kajiwara, sir. Please don't come in here without asking. My apologies, Mr. Osawa. I just wanted to inform you that the toilet has been fixed. Right. Fine. Osawa hardly cared. He just wanted this guy to give him a little peace. Oh my. Is that really all you have to say, sir? Nary a compliment or encouraging word. Maybe a good job, Kajiwara, or you're getting a promotion, detective? Osawa blew out his breath in exasperation. How? How are you a detective? I'm not sure I get your meaning, sir. You are completely clueless. I'd like to ask you superiors to replace you with a detective who knows how to take his job seriously. But Mr. Osawa, with all due respect, it's unusual for a precinct detective like me to be stationed here at a victim's home. What's your point? Not to brag, sir, but I happen to be an exceptional detective. Kajiwara beamed with pride. In fact, I made an excellent showing in the Superstar Detective contest we had on our police social media service. Social media, an online platform whose primary feature is allowing people to connect with one another. The police-exclusive social media network that Kajiwara belongs to, Poxy, is very strictly regulated, with any abusive language, slander, sexual content, or lame jokes deleted almost immediately. For a moment, Osawa thought the bolt of incredulous anger that shot through him was the onset of a stroke. I love it. How could a single person be so utterly infuriating? And you can't tell anyone about this, Kajiwara went on obliviously. But this summer, a new detective manga is starting based on me. Detective manga. Planned for serialization in the MPD's monthly PR magazine. The chapter titles have already been decided. Chapter 1, The Fabled Detective Kaji. Chapter 2, Kaji Howls at the Sun. Chapter 3, Kaji Rides the Rails. Chapter 4, Kaji at Daybreak. Chapter 5, Detective Kajak. Detective 6, Kaji, Queen of the Street. Chapter 7, Lookout Kaji. Chapter 8, Kaji on the Edge. Chapter 9, Dance Kaji Jance. Chapter 10, Space Detective Kaji, and so forth and so on. Osawa spat out a peal of feigned laughter. A manga? I can tell you all about the plot, sir. Would you like to hear about it? I would not. It's about a telecommuting detective who solves major crimes using just his wits at his computer. Surely you'd like to hear about that, sir. I really wouldn't. I know I may not look it, but I'm pretty handy with computers. Kajiwara's eyes drifted over to Osawa's desktop. His hand darted to the mouse. In a matter of moments, he cleared the screensaver and booted up a web browser. The hand that would just unclog the toilet. Ah! Hey! Osawa barked. Don't touch that! But he was too late to stop the detective. The monitor showed the page for AyaNet, a fan page devoted to Aya Kamiki. Osawa's imminent rage stroke was beginning to make vision go fuzzy. Rage stroke. You come to this site regularly, sir. Regularly? Well, I'm not sure I'd, Osawa trailed off, feeling the heat of a blush flare on his cheeks. There's a lot of stuff on this site. Is there a section you primarily spend time on? Well, I mean, for my part, I really only go to the fan forums for folks 40 and over. Aha! With a twinkle of curiosity in his eyes, Kajiwara peered at the computer screen. Having his privacy invaded to this degree. Having his privacy invaded to this degree, I'm losing it, was the ultimate disgrace. All right, Osawa huffed. You're an amazing detective, Kajiwara. Just incredible. I see you in a new light now. Now, would you please... Oh, I see you in a new light now. Would you please... Please leave me alone, or usher Kajiwara back out the door. Usher him out. No, please leave me alone. Would you please leave me alone? He got up to leave the study. Sir, hold on. There's something I wanted to give you. Kajiwara reached into his pocket. I don't need a banana. As Osawa fled the room, he needed to be alone, if only for a few moments. But even if he could somehow shake Kajiwara, the other detectives had eyes all over his house. He had reached the limits of his patience. Couldn't even think straight anymore. He headed for the back door, trying to avoid the police. Opening the door quietly, he slipped across the yard and out through the back fence. He didn't want to venture too far from the house. He found a tiny alley and took cover there, thankful for a few moments to himself at last. While there, he caught sight of a man and a young girl, a father and his daughter, running past on the main road. It looked as if they were running from something. The man glanced anxiously back over his shoulder, dragging his daughter by the hand. Osawa watched absently as the pair rounded a corner and disappeared from sight. Uh-oh. Not long after, a pair of thuggish-looking men came running along, heading in the same direction. You there! One of them called out. You see a guy and his daughter around here? A guy and his daughter. Teru Toyama and his daughter Hana. They had come to Shoto while running from loan sharks. Just moments ago, Toyama was talking on the phone with Minoru Kawa. There's a red there, but we can't probably jump to that yet. They should have come by this way. There was a hint of menace in his voice. Osawa feigned ignorance. Don't think so, no. Come on. Itaro, let's go, said the older man. Alright, replied the other. The two dashed off in the direction the father and daughter had gone. Osawa took several long, deep breaths. He managed to calm down slightly, but the worry gnawing away inside him still lingered. Osawa groaned inwardly when he got back to his study. You're still here? Oh, yes, sir. I was told to keep my eyes on you, after all. Believe me, it shows. Mr. Osawa, if you're going to go outside, I'd appreciate if you let me know first. What? Had Kajiwara realized he'd snuck out of the house? But more importantly, Kajiwara reached back into his suit pocket. I've been meaning to give this to you. He held out a small plastic bag. Inside was a scrap of paper of some sort. What's that? Osawa asked. This is what was clogging the toilet, sir. With some hesitation, Osawa took hold of the bag. Huh? That's... The passenger name here is listed as Kenji Osawa. And the plastic bag was a plane ticket. Specifically the one for his upcoming flight to the U.S. the following week. He'd left it out on his desk. How had it wound up getting flushed down the toilet? This looks like it's pretty important, sir, Kajiwara said. I must say it was pretty careless of you to accidentally flush it. A wry sort of smile came to his face. Although, the detective added, I suppose the question of who flushed it is another matter entirely. Uh-oh. Osawa was at a loss for words. Someone had tried to flush his plane ticket on purpose? He was sure of it. He knocked on the door to Ai's room, but there was no response. Didn't look like she'd gotten back home yet. Osawa let himself in. Stinging scent of her perfume pervaded the room, which was decorated all in white. Clothes were strewn all about as if to put her slovenliness on display. She'd been like this ever since they'd gotten married, and Osawa had long since stopped caring. It must have been I who tried to flush the ticket. He knew she didn't want him going to America, but still, couldn't she have found a better way to get rid of it? Thanks to her, he'd been stuck hunched over the toilet, fighting with the plunger. Osawa sat down on the bed amidst the brand-name clothing. Then he stopped, something odd down by his feet. It was a gold cigarette lighter. Just when had I picked up smoking? Osawa picked up the lighter and set it on the shelf next to the bed. M, huh? He started out of the room, but stopped as he noticed a scrapbook on the bookshelf. The rest of the shelf was filled with fashion magazines, so the scrapbook definitely drew his eye. Curious, he took it down and opened it. The book was filled with articles and write-ups about the results of Osawa's research and the company's various achievements. Flipping through the pages took him on a trip down memory lane. There was even an old company memo welcoming Tanaka on board as his new vice director. There was a photo of Osawa shaking Tanaka's hand at the party, celebrating his new position. It was a little peculiar to think that she had bothered to keep something so trivial. A series of magazine articles was nestled between the pages, further into the book. There hadn't been clipped out for inclusion in the scrapbook itself. Osawa glanced through them. Floundering Okoshi Pharmaceutical arranges marriage of political convenience. It was a self-indulgent piece from some rag called 4-Star General Gossip from right after he and I had gotten married. When the piece had first run, he'd been too furious to read it. Now he gave it a quick looking over. It was pretty much exactly what he'd expected. It talked about how one of the corporate directors had sacrificed his own daughter in order to keep one of his researchers on board. Sacrificed, allowing someone else to come to harm for one's personal gain. In this case, the term is used figuratively, not literally. Referring, of course, to Makino offering Osawa Ai's hand in marriage. Rumors abound of marital strife between the newlyweds. The article went on to talk about how Ai had been dating another man before she and Osawa had gotten married. The whole thing was a bunch of puerile rubbish. Any marriage involved some kind of calculated self-interest after all. Whatever the reason for their union, nothing changed the fact that I was now his wife. With a faint sigh, Osawa put the scrapbook back on the shelf. Feeling disconsolate, he returned to his study and began flipping through his CD rack. His eyes scanned for Ayakamiki's album, For Tomorrow, Forevermore. A lot of her more experimental numbers were on that album. Given how discombobulated he felt now, this was what he needed to hear. Again, Osawa reflected on how there'd been a time when he didn't care about music at all. He'd simply purchased copies of the most popular CDs of the moment as birthday presents for his two girls. And that had just happened to be an album by Aya Kamiki. Hitomi was thrilled by the gift, but Maria hadn't seemed terribly fond of it. The next day, she'd tossed her copy back on her father's desk. Figuring that throwing it away would be a waste, Osawa had stuck the CD into his computer to give it a listen. He was immediately bombarded by an intense beat, bolstered by bold, uplifting vocals. Ayakamiki wrote her own lyrics, which did a fine job of conveying the emotions of a teenage girl. Osawa could hardly believe it. After listening to just one track, he was well and truly hooked. Before the day was out, he had purchased her entire discography. Huh? He muttered. For Tomorrow should have been in the CD, but there was no sign of it. Where the heck is it? Why isn't it here? For a moment, he wondered if he was going crazy, and then he remembered. It was at the lab. He'd wanted something to listen to on break at work, so he'd brought the album there. Damn it. Being able to listen to it made him want to hear it all the more. It wasn't like he could just go out and buy another copy right now, either. He'd just have to borrow the copy he'd given to Hitomi all those years ago. Unable to contain his need to hear that music, he went into Hitomi's room. There he quickly rummaged through the CD rack beside his daughter's bed. Part of him felt like he was being a little sneak thief. According to the email Tanaka had shown him, someone was trying to kill Hitomi. Under these circumstances, he knew that what he was doing was ridiculous, and yet he still couldn't resist the impulse to find this CD. But his efforts were to no avail. There were no Ayakamiki CDs in the rack at all. Osawa pulled out every CD on the rack, but they were all classical music. He slumped back in disappointment. It had to be somewhere here in the room. Osawa jumped at the sound of his cell and fumbled to get it out of his pocket. Makino's name was displayed on the LCD screen. I'm out front. That was all Makino said before hanging up. Hurriedly, Osawa began tanning up the CD rack. As he worked, he thought about what he was going to say to Makino. To think that someone had violated corporate policy to such unethical ends. It sullied his research. Osawa wasn't about to let anyone get away with it. And yet, as he was about to leave Hitomi's room, a sudden uncertainty gripped him. He hesitated. Did he have any right to condemn Makino for running trials in secret? His hand began to sweat as it gripped the doorknob. No, he didn't. How could he? His hands were dirty in all this, too. Oh. We need to keep this a secret. It's between us. Huh? It'll be fine. We've already cleared animal testing. What? The memories hovered. Osawa himself had already administered the antiviral to someone, hadn't he? What? It was the only way. Oh. Muttering nobody in particular, Osawa trudged toward the front door of his house. This feels like a to be continued. Yep. Okay. And that's where we're going to stop. Perfect. Perfect point to end. Wow. Intense. Love it. All right. This has still been the best hour so far. So next week, we're going to finish Tama and Kano and Minorikawa. So the main one is probably going to be Minorikawa. We're going to start with next time. So thanks for coming out, and we will see you again next time. Bye.